For the Astros, we'll see if they can hang on. It's top of the seventh inning in Colorado. They are up 5-3, and one final on the day. The Marlins took out the Twins 4-1.
Snapshot brought to you by Miller Lite. When it's game time, it's Miller time.
This hour is brought to you by Legacy Group Capital Common Sense Lending.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, this is Wyman and Bob.
On Seattle Sports.
Streaming live on the Seattle Sports app and at seattlesports.com.
Now, here are your hosts, Dave Wyman and Bob Stelton.
Welcome, everybody. It's Wyman and Bob. This is Seattle Sports on 710 and seattlesports.com. Happy Thursday to everybody who are out there. Maybe you're on the road, you're traveling, you've got 4th of July plans. I don't know how many people are working today. There wasn't much traffic out there, and this building is a ghost town. So Dave and I are going to curse for the next 4 hours because we can. So buckle up.
Nobody's here to stop us.
That's exactly right. And nobody's here to field your complaints should you be offended.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
we could say a lot of stuff.
There's lots.
There's lots of stuff we could say. No, we're not going to do that. But for those of you that are out there, out and about, you're in your car, you're at work, you're listening to the radio, you're listening to the app, whatever, we appreciate it very much. This is a Friday for us. We're off tomorrow. So we've got mean text coming up today. So giving you a big heads up, big early heads up right out of the gates for mean text before Dave has to insult you. Maybe Matt will insult you. Maybe Brady will. We'll see if he chimes in on it. Lefko's not here to call you dumb.
Yeah. I'm curious what beyond the glass there, what you two guys have to say to our texters that are idiots.
Nothing. What would I say to those people?
Didn't they call you by another name at one point?
Oh, what'd they give you?
Somebody called him
Probably.
Mike or something. Yeah.
I don't care.
Nobody can insult them more than Lefko, but it's an insult that Lefko's not here to insult them.
Yeah. Feel free to take shots at Lefko if you want as well. 866-979-3776. Coming up in the show, Paul Moyer will join us for his weekly conversation. That'll be at 3 o'clock. Adam Jude of the Seattle Times will join us at 4. We'll talk some Mariner baseball with him. He wrote a story just sort of speculating about some potential trade targets for the team as we are inching closer and closer to the trade deadline. See what this team does. And then we got a lot to get into. When Mariners win's a win. They still are 7 games back. I got to stop looking at the gap between them and the Astros because it's just it's frustrating. Mariners, you feel like they're rolling. They had a winning road trip, and you look down and they're just not gaining any ground on this Astros team, who again are currently trailing the Rockies 5-3. See if the Rockies can hang on to their lead, but I have my doubts because they're the Rockies.
Yeah, exactly. And they've won 8 games at home, and they're playing in Colorado. 8 games. So, yeah, I'm pretty much counting this one as a W for Houston. But, I mean, look, you should expect that, right? I mean, if Colorado's able to take 1 there, because then they got to go to Los Angeles. They got Cleveland and Texas before the break. So, hopefully that they can go on some kind of a tailspin in those
That'd be cool.
3 series. But
I'd like that.
Yeah, if you can just if the Rockies could just take 1, I mean, we'd really appreciate that.
Yeah, geez, kudos to the Astros. I mean, they're finding ways to win despite what's going on with injuries and guys that have left the team, and they still find ways. And you got that little creep Altuve stepping up to the plate right there. He's
going to hit a 2-run jack.
Probably,
right now.
yeah. First runner or the runner in front of him is sitting there going, yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and start jogging now because he's going to do it. We'll see. We'll see what goes on. But so you're still sitting there 7 games back of the Astros, and it's not insurmountable. There's a ton of baseball left to be played, certainly. So and the Mariners know that better than anybody with a 10-game lead last year in the middle of June that they blew. So it certainly is possible. It's not out of the realm of possibility, but I just keep looking at that wild card lead, and it's back to 2.5 games over the Rangers and the Angels after the win last night. So that's good.
Yeah.
But yeah, these are, again, emphasizing just how important series like these are with the Royals, with the Pirates, teams you should beat before you take to the road to face the Yankees and the Tigers. And last night, something that hasn't been happening often for this rotation is them going deep in a game.
Mm-hmm.
Brian Woo's been the king of it because he's been at least 6 innings in every single start this year. But you got guys in this rotation and there's the Rockies being the Rockies right there. Left fielder just ran past the ball. Of course, that's why you're bad. That's why your record is what it is. But they, the bullpen has been getting worked, just worked. And Logan last night wasn't great. Yeah. I mean, he was great in that he limited the damage, held him to 1 run, 3 hits, I think. But he far from efficient. You give the Royals credit. Look, they're fouling off pitch after pitch. They're up there battling. They don't score a lot of runs, but they got a lot of guys that don't strike out much, and they go up there and battle. So you fast forward, Logan Gilbert gives you 4 2/3, 3 hits, 1 run. He had 3 walks, which is not great. 7 strikeouts, 95 pitches. So it wasn't your typical Logan Gilbert outing. There were some good things in there. Again, he didn't go out there and get shelled by any stretch, but it's just comes at a time when the bullpen has been so worked, and you need length. You need your starters to, give these guys a break because they're going to start coughing it up. The fatigue is going to set in. So that was a bit of a bummer, for his outing. I appreciated that he battled and again, limited damage. But here he is just talking after the game on some of the positives he took from it.
Thought the slider was pretty good. The splitter's always swing and miss, it feels like. It's just, it goes where it goes. So maybe they swing, maybe they don't. Settling in after the first. Salvi hit a pretty good pitch, but after that, trying to just keep us in it. And the walks weren't great, the deep pitch count, all that kind of stuff, but still coming out with 1 run isn't the worst. And then shout out to Gabe, picked me up big time, and the bullpen's been doing such a good job. Randy's been going off, so all that stuff's just really, really good to see.
Yeah, you could see the look on his face. He just was not happy at all with his outing there. But boy, you talk about, you mentioned Spire there. I mean, Gabe, his last 3 2/3, the last 3 outings for him, 0 hits, 7 strikeouts. He's been phenomenal. And then, of course, Munoz, he had that blow-up series against Minnesota at home where he gave up 4 earned runs in a couple innings. But, man, now he's got 7 straight outings with no earned runs, 9 strikeouts, just only giving up 2 hits. So, I don't know, do you feel like that's like, hanging over their head that, you got the bullpen? I mean, they've been performing great, but, you just wonder, like, how much longer it can last when you got, Logan going 4 2/3.
Yeah, it's you're asking a lot of them. Yeah. And Brash finally gave up a run, and look, that's going to happen. All these guys are going to have that stub their toe moment, and we've seen it. But by and large, they've been asked to do a ton, and they've done a great job with it. But at some point, it's going to come back to bite you. And the other part of it is, this offense is so uneven that I don't go in there counting on the offense to bail them out. Right, and there's just the Rockies. I'm sorry, just
oh my God.
Yeah, there you go. Just center fielder diving for a ball, misses it by about 2 feet, and now he's hurt. And they played another run, have the bases loaded. Yeah. So they're fixing to go ahead and choke this one away.
All with 2 outs.
Yeah, they're going to go ahead and choke this one away.
Yeah,
let's chalk this up. It will be a 7.5 game lead for the Astros in the division.
See, just now you can see why they've only won 8 games at home. Yeah. My God,
it's like look. He takes his eyes out. He's looking at the. This is bad radio. People can't see what we're looking at, but he sees the left fielder coming into his vision. So he turns away from the ball and looks at the fielder and just dives towards his feet somewhere.
Yeah,
the ball goes over his head.
He was certainly more concerned that he wasn't going to run into the left fielder than he was in catching the ball.
Yeah,
that's for sure.
So it's tied 5 apiece now.
Yeah,
5-5. Astros have battled back. Meanwhile, Logan Evans is supposed to get the start tonight. How about that?
How about that?
Everybody's being pushed back a day.
Right.
So it was supposed to be Brian Wu tonight, and Logan Evans is going to be called up to get that start. And we talked about that when they sent Emerson Hancock down, and they called up Jax, former Red Sox pitcher, who our resident Red Sox fan Ian, who's not in here, gave us the lowdown on the infamous Jax game that they talk about out there, which not for good reasons. So he's a reliever. He's a left-handed reliever. So Logan Evans to get the start tonight, and hopefully he can secure that series win for them. They need it.
Yeah.
These games are big. I know it doesn't feel like it because of their opposition, but you got tough games in front of you. You got to end this first half on a high note. You don't want to go in there getting worked. Maybe splitting a series with the Royals, hopefully winning the series with the Pirates, and then who knows what's going to happen in the next two with the Tigers and the Yankees.
Yeah, I mean, and Logan Evans really, like against Washington especially, I mean, he had a great outing, 8 innings, and gave up 1 earned run, 1 home run, and that was it. He only had 4 strikeouts. He only walked 1. So, yeah, he had a couple of blow-ups, but, he's got a couple quality starts under his belt. So, yeah, I feel pretty good about Logan Evans. But, yeah, I mean, I guess on the heels of, you're expecting Gilbert to have, a little bit better. And, look, we expect him to be perfect. He was an all-star last year, but, he's going to have his blow-ups. But hopefully Logan Evans is able to not tax the bullpen anymore because, they got a lot of games in a row coming up here.
Yeah, they need him to go out there and hopefully give him some innings and keep the game, keep everything within reach. You need him to be that guy. And it's asking a lot of a guy that's got, limited experience. He does have, few games, as you talked about. I think he just trying to find his game log here in the minors because I think his last game he went out there and got touched up quite a bit from what I read. Let's see. Yeah, let's see here. June 28th. Yeah, 3 innings, 8 runs.
Yeah. Ouch.
Hopefully he got that out of his system.
That was in the minors.
That was in the minors, yeah. Yeah, that was June 28th was his last start. 3 innings, 8 runs. So not a good night for him, and hopefully he got that out of his system, and we'll see what he brings to the table. Meanwhile, we've been talking about guys that need to get hot in this lineup outside of Cal Raleigh, and it appears Randy Arozarena has raised his hand and said, I'll do it. Yeah. I'll go ahead and get hot.
The 3-2. Swung on, crossed, center field. Isbell back. He's at the wall. He's looking up. It is gone. Randy Arozarena strikes again. He is sprinting around the bases. He wallops a homer, and this game is tied.
What'd you think about that sprint? He was
different,
down, man. Yeah,
yeah, he was busting it out of the box like it was rolling around out there, and he was going to stretch a double into a triple.
Yeah, I mean he's been awesome. Looking at what he's been, that's 3 consecutive games with a home run. I think that he had
4
done that.
home runs in 3 games.
Yeah, and I think he had done that with, when he was with Tampa. He had 3 straight games in an ALDS series with Tampa Bay when he was in the playoffs back then. But that's as far as regular season. Yeah, he's hot as can be right now, and. And then, you had Julio hit that smoker. I mean, we were talking about how, you've been talking about him just pounding the ball into the earth, basically. And, he hit one hard there and got something out of it, gets an RBI out of it. So it's like, okay, maybe that's going to start to work for him a little bit. But, yeah, I mean, I feel like there should be like kind of a progression. Now start lift the ball in the air and see if you can get it over the fence. But
he had some pop-ups.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Not great other than
they weren't good at bats for Julio leading up to that. And it was good that he squared that up in terms of just hitting the ball hard.
Right.
I mean, he had the bases loaded. And he popped the ball up to shallow center on. I think that was the first pitch. He's aggressive, man. He's going after that first pitch, and sometimes it's working, sometimes it's not. But this time it worked here.
He's ready. He deals. Swung on, ripped right to third base. It's off the glove of Garcia. A run is going to score. Scampering home is Williamson, and the Mariners have taken the lead. It was a bolt off the bat of Julio. It's 2-1 Mariners.
A bolt. I like it. After the game, Dan Wilson talking about Julio being able to find the barrel on the first pitch and hit that ball hard.
Yeah, I thought even the ball he hit to center field was, he found the barrel, and he certainly found the barrel on that base hit to third base there, hit it hard. He continues to make solid contact, and sometimes you can't control where it goes. Most of the time you can't control where it goes, but good to see him finding it and making something happen in that situation, getting that run in, and then Randy getting the other one in.
Yeah, I just feel like we put Julio under the microscope all the time, but maybe that is something that it clicks for him. He hit it hard, and that's something that he's kind of been doing, but it's leading to outs, and he's hitting singles, and maybe all of a sudden that's something that gives him enough confidence to go on some kind of a tear, because you got Randy Rosarena doing that. You didn't have Cal last night. Was that the second time that he has not not played in a game? And everybody's that's the big question, right? I mean, who's going to help Cal? Who's going to be, if they can get three guys like Rosarena, Julio going along with Cal, then you'd feel a lot better about this offense and their chance of, continuing to push for that wild card spot.
Yeah, and look, if a Rosarena can get going, that is huge because he's got some pop. There are other guys that got hot, like JP's kind of rebounded. He's still not walking, though. You look at it, it's been like, I don't know, I have to go back and look at his game log because he was walking so much. And he hasn't walked in like eight games or something. Like, what's John Curley doing? Squats out there. I'm distracted by everything going on here. Rocky's choking it away. John Curley standing up at his desk doing squats. Now just kicking back, putting his feet up on the desk.
We need a curtain over this window is what we need.
It's like when there's zoo animals. We're looking at them just going, look at what the bear's doing. Look at what the monkeys are doing out there. But
that one out there is scratching his ass right now.
It's just, but Rosarena's got some pop. And, when somebody like JP gets hot, it's great. It's great. He's getting on base. He's there to be driven it, but he's not hitting the ball over the fence. He's not a guy who's doing damage. So it's great when it's somebody like a Rosarena or somebody like Raleigh or somebody who can go out there and really do some damage. So, that's huge. And, look, hopefully that was a sign of things to come for Julio. We keep saying that. He had the game where he had the home run and the double in the game. You're like, okay, we got liftoff. This is where it starts.
Mm-hmm.
It hasn't quite happened yet.
No.
And, we're watching him. We're watching him closely. He's still the most recognizable face of this team. He's still the face of the franchise nationally. Cal is becoming more and more prominent, but it is still Julio. And he's still your guy. And he's got to get somewhere in that neighborhood, man. He's got to be that guy that does damage when the bases are loaded and you come up and they need you just to get that ball, just a single. You don't have to hit a grand slam, but it just he just. I don't know. I mean, it's just this weird spot where I love people get mad. You're always picking on Julio. I love Julio. Love the guy. I think he's a brilliant player. He's just not a consistent player. And I hate that when he steps up into the plate in a crucial situation, I don't have much confidence.
Right.
I'm sitting there going, all right, here we go. What's he going to do?
Well, and he misjudged the ball in center field the other day. And, and it's kind of like Tyler Lockett dropping, a pass because – he never does that.
Right.
And he's just been so unbelievably solid. So
defense. I'm not going to rip him for that. I mean, it was weird. I don't know what the hell happened because it was so bad. But that's not something we've been talking about all year. Like, what's going on with his defense? He's been spectacular. That was just a really odd looking play.
Well, and the one guy, I was just looking at his numbers. I mean, does it seem like Salvador Perez just feasts here in Seattle?
He's tortured the Mariners before.
Oh, my God.
What was it? Was it last year or the year before where he had a home run in every game of the series and he just he was just a nightmare for him.
Yeah, I mean, I was looking up his splits in 40 starts here in Seattle at T-Mobile/Safeco. 6 home runs, 26 RBIs, and 9 doubles. And he went 2 for 4 last night. He had both the RBIs.
Do you have his average and on base there?
His average is 291 against the Mariners. I'm not here, but just against the Mariners, just in general, 291.
Yeah.
And and he's kind of feasted a little bit off the Yankees. I mean, outside of the the division, which is, the White Sox, Minnesota, Detroit, and Cleveland. I mean, he's done some damage in New York as well. So he's a good player. There's no question about it. But man, you look at how it's ridiculous what he's done here. And 15 doubles, 12 home runs, 44 RBIs, and 291 average. Incredible.
He likes playing the Mariners.
Yeah.
206. Have you ever thought about bringing a pinch hitter in for Julio? No. Not to that point. It's not like the Mariners have all these great options sitting on the bench. What are you gonna sit him down and bring up Mastroboni?
Yeah.
You're gonna. I mean, come on. No, you're not pinch hitting for Julio. It's not gotten to that point, and you don't have the luxury of all these stellar bats sitting on the bench waiting to be unleashed. So no, we're not there yet. But I wouldn't be opposed to them giving him a day off at some point. Like, he's playing every single game, and I don't know if a day of just watching cures anything, but it certainly wouldn't hurt just to have him have the pressure off and just say, have a seat, man. Just watch the game. Yeah. Just step into that stadium with no expectation. You don't have to do anything but just relax and watch.
Well, I think the thing that's frustrating about it is we've gone through this many a time. We've gone through every one of his seasons, and there's always a 30-game stretch where he is just on fire, or 45-game stretch even.
Yeah.
And you're just like, okay, when's it coming?
All right, let's take two.
Jeff Passan is reporting that James Wood of the Washington Nationals will be joining Cal Raleigh and Ronald Acuna Jr. in the home run derby.
That's one of those guys I like watching play, James Wood. Mm-hmm. Yeah, he came in here and tore up Mariner pitching, but yeah, it'll be cool to see him in there. And who's going to be going up against Cal?
Yeah, it's going to be. I almost don't care who the other. I mean, I do, but I don't. I want Cal to win. I hope he does. I hope at minimum, I hope he has a great showing. Right? If he doesn't win, it's like Julio. Julio, you forgot who won that derby because Julio put on a show.
Right.
So I'm hoping at minimum something like that for Cal, where if he doesn't win, that we're kind of oohing and aahing at whatever he did there.
Mark Mask of the Washington Post reports that the NFL and the Players Association are not expected to engage in formal negotiations to expand to an 18-game regular season until at least early 2026.
Yeah, I saw this story last night, and I mean, look, it's going to be an 18-game season.
Sure it is.
That's going to happen.
Yeah.
Where do they stop, though? And we can talk about this more later, but are we going to be talking about this 10 years from now going, all right, they want to stretch it to 20?
Yeah.
I mean, what's the physical limit? Unless they just go crazy and expand the rosters, you can have 80 players on the roster. Maybe you got multiple starters at each position. That I got a starting middle linebacker for this game, and then the next game is going to be this middle linebacker, and I don't know. I don't know what the limit is physically.
Yeah, and I'm curious, are they going to go to 2 preseason games then? Not that preseason matters, but
for an 18-game season, yeah, I would think.
I would think so too. And when I was coming into the league, I remember talking to a lot of the veterans. They had 6 preseason games at one point. I think that 14 regular season, but yeah, it seems to be that number is 20 altogether. So I would think that, but yeah, I mean, this is a foregone conclusion, right? I mean, and who doesn't want it? It's more football.
Yeah, it's meaningful football.
I don't care if they get hurt.
Player safety.
Yeah,
who cares? Take Two is brought to you by Swedish Cyberknife. Treat prostate cancer with Swedish Cyberknife. Swedish.org/cyberknifeprostate. We'll wrap up our offseason trip around the NFC West by checking in on the San Francisco 49ers. That is coming your way next with Wyman and Bob at Seattle Sports on 710.
Independence Day, when we celebrate this great nation of ours and the many reasons we're grateful to call ourselves Americans. Freedom, liberty, time spent with friends and loved ones, and way too many burgers, dogs, and cold ones to keep count of. Wishing you a safe and happy 4th of July from Seattle Sports on 710, the Seattle Sports app, and seattlesports.com.
Hey, it's Mike Salk here, and we've been talking about this. Luxury awaits at Snoqualmie Casino and Hotel. You can book now for an unforgettable summer experience because the hotel opens up August 8th. Bookings are open at snocasino.com starting on August 8th. The expanded non-gaming floor, the destination spa, the big new entertainment space and convention center, new restaurants as well. They're combining effortless style with the utmost in relaxation. Go to snocasino.com for details. Seattle's closest, now Snoqualmie Casino and Hotel.
Is your car road trip ready? Don't get stranded. Get to Bucky's Complete Auto Repair. Bucky's has been preparing cars, trucks, and SUVs for safe, worry-free travel for over 50 years. We take care of your car with experience and good old-fashioned customer service. For all your oil changes, brakes, AC charging, and factory maintenance, choose Bucky's. No appointment needed, and yes, friendly financing is available. Visit Bucky's.com. Bucky's, where your car feels right at home.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, let's talk ED because millions of men experience it, but not everyone can access or afford treatments like Viagra. Well, Hims can help. Through Hims.com, you can get a full range of treatment options for ED, including daily or as-needed meds through a 100% online process. It all starts with an online intake form. Get started at hims.com/joy, and from there, a medical provider licensed in your state will determine if ED treatment is right for you. If prescribed, your medication is shipped to you for free. Find the ED treatment that fits your needs with options up to 95% less than the brand names. Millions of men experience ED, but Hims can help. To start your free online visit and save up to 95%, go to hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit. HIMS.com/JOY.
Texting enrolls you into recurring automated text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
Hey, Dan, haven't seen you around the gym for a while.
Yeah, I've really fallen off. Since I turned 40, I just don't get the results I used to get.
Could it be lower testosterone?
Lower T.
Happens to most guys after 40. I was in the same boat until I started using Nugenix Total T2.
Total T2, the new one I've seen on TV.
Yep, it's the next generation testosterone booster for both free and total testosterone. It's packed with even more man-boosting power, sending nitric oxide levels skyrocketing in just 3 hours.
It actually works?
I feel like I'm in my 20s again. I've got more energy, better results in the gym, and things are even better in the bedroom. Send them a text and get a complimentary bottle.
Text now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T2, the #1 testosterone brand at GNC. Plus, text now and we'll include a bottle of Nugenix Thermo X, our most powerful fat incinerator ever, absolutely free. Text CASH to 231231. CASH to 231231. CASH to 231231.
These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
When it comes to the security of your business, doubts can creep in about who you're trusting to protect it. At Bail Arm, we got you. For nearly 80 years, we've been putting our customers' minds at ease with our advanced technology and personalized support. Feeling insecure about your current security service? Visit bailarm.com today.
Seahawks training camp, powered by Boeing, is back at the Virginia Mason Athletic Center, July 23rd through August 12th. Take in stunning lakeside views, grab autographs from your favorite players, and let the kids join in on pre-practice football drills and more. Register now at Seahawks.com/training camp.
20 days until Seahawks training camp. And Seahawks training camp lives on the home of the Seahawks, Seattle Sports.
From whiplash to herniated discs, there are a few car accident injuries we've all heard of. J.P. Pendergast with Pendergast Law explains that even the most common injuries differ from one another.
Pre-existing conditions, health history, beginning of treatment. There are hundreds of factors that make every person and every injury unique. While these variables aid medical treatment, the strongest case recoveries must also take them into account.
Could you explain a little bit more?
Our team at Pendergast Law is obsessed with turning over every stone to differentiate each case. This requires thorough investigation, diligent listening, and relentless research. We never pursue cases with a one-size-fits-all approach. We built our success by treating every injury and every case with the individualized attention our clients need and deserve.
Pendergast Law's individualized approach to even the most common injuries makes the difference in case outcomes. It's another reason why I can't recommend them enough.
If you or a loved one has been injured in a car accident, call Pendergast Law. We can help.
Citizens, since we each upgraded to Xfinity in our homes, the Wi-Fi has been booming. It's fair to say our town has officially become a boomtown.
Mayor, will I be able to drop into multiplayer gaming battles with low lag?
The lag won't be an issue, but your questionable skills may be.
And what if I have hundreds of devices on the Wi-Fi? Purely hypothetical.
Seems like a lot, but sure, hundreds of devices all booming together with the Xfinity Gateway. Yes, friends and neighbors, with Xfinity, the Wi-Fi is booming.
The Wi-Fi isn't the only thing that's booming. Now get the most reliable Wi-Fi and our best-in-class equipment for one consistent price for 5 years guaranteed. All in. Plus, get unlimited data included and no annual contract. All with the 5-year price guarantee from Xfinity. Visit Xfinity.com, call 1-800-XFINITY, or visit a store today. Restrictions apply. Not available in all areas. New residential customers only. Select plans only. Xfinity Gateway with X5 Complete required for unlimited data except in certain areas. Most reliable Wi-Fi based on Open Signal Awards USA. Fixed Broadband Experience Report, August 2024. Actual speeds vary.
This hour is brought to you by Legacy Group Capital Common Sense Lending.
Wyman and Bob.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
Weekdays 2 to 7.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Text line is there for you at 866-979-3776. You guys can weigh in on anything going on. Also, mean text coming up at 5:45 today. So get the creative juices flowing. I haven't been paying attention. Have they sent some in, Matt? Have they sent?
The problem is everybody has expanded mean texts to like Tuesday and Wednesday and Thursday. So
they're just always mean.
Yeah,
they're always mean.
All right,
they're cruel people, Bob.
Well, that was the whole point of doing this thing. Where it's like, well, let's highlight your cruelty, and those that are the most cruel and creative with their cruelty will unveil every Friday. Yeah. So that wasn't. We weren't inviting me. They were just showing up anyway. So we might as well highlight them.
Joe in Bellevue says, with 18 games, the 18-game schedule for the NFL, all of Dave's tackling stats will be crushed. Yeah, I never really had any that I'm worried about. There's no records that are going to go away for me. So I think
your records are safe.
I remember in USA Today one time I had 20 tackles against the 49ers, who we'll talk about in a second here. And it was like the worst game I ever played. And they're like, well, how'd you get 20 tackles? I'm like, there was lots of tackles to be had.
Yeah.
There were people running everywhere. So,
and where on the field were they happening?
Yeah, exactly.
Meanwhile, yes, we've been doing a preview of the NFC West, taking a look at each team that the Seahawks will be competing with. And we are left with the San Francisco 49ers, who signed their quarterback to a massive deal in the offseason. They're a team that was just absolutely beset with injuries last year, and the record reflected that. They were not a good team last year. So what did you come away with as you were kind of perusing what they've done and what they didn't do last year?
Yeah, well, like you said, Bob, I mean, certainly the injuries definitely were a factor there. But, yeah, I mean, it's kind of an interesting offseason. They signed, which I will make Matt try to spell this later, Kyle Juszczyk. Hint, there's 2 Z's in there. And
that's
then,
not even that big of a hint. Good luck with it.
Yeah, that's not going to help you. They have Trey Brown, by the way. That was I was just going through their transactions. But, yeah, you mentioned they went Brock Purdy, 5-year contract. He's got $53 million a year. I think 182 is guaranteed. But they also did a deal with Fred Warner, a 3-year deal for $63 million, which 56.7 is guaranteed. And then, they traded away Deebo Samuel to, for a 5th-round draft choice. So, and a lot of people were like, oh, my God, that was a steal. And, I saw a lot of articles that basically the Commanders fleeced the Niners in that trade or whatever. But it kind of makes you wonder, like, okay, they must really Juwan Jennings has been a really good receiver for them. Their leading receiver was George Kittle. And then, you had Deebo as number 3 with 670 yards. But, they got the Ricky Pearsall kid, and then Brandon Ayuk. He only played in 7 games because of a knee injury.
Yeah.
And I heard there was some rumor about them possibly trading them to the Raiders, the Vegas Raiders. Ayuk. Yeah, so.
And plus, you got Christian McCaffrey, who was hurt last year, too.
Right. So, yeah, just like you said, tons. And when I looked at their record, I'm like, really? They were 6-11? I mean, that was.
They were last place.
But you know what? Some of the numbers that stood out, like if you look at their offense, I mean, they were number 4 in total yards and passing, number 4, which is why they rewarded, Brock Purdy. But then you look on defense, man, their scoring defense, they were ranked 29th. They're giving up like 27 points a game. So, but the problem last year was they were -10 in turnover ratio. The year before that, they were +10 in 2023. So basically 20 extra possessions. And then
didn't they get rid of that Hufanga?
Yeah.
He went, where'd he go?
I'm trying to remember.
He go to Denver, I want to say. I'll look it up. But yeah. He's kind of liked him. I didn't watch him a ton, but he seemed like a player for him, and he's not on the team anymore.
Well, and their second leading sack guy, Leonard Floyd, he's playing for the Atlanta Falcons now.
Yeah, Denver.
So,
Hufanga went to Denver. He only played 7 games last year, so I guess another guy who was dealing with injury. Yeah, it just seemed like everybody of note on that team last year missed time. I mean, Nick Bosa missed 3 games. He played 14 games. Had 9 sacks for him last year, but
but it seems like they always find a running back, right?
Yeah.
I mean, there was that one year they went to, I think they went to I don't know if it's the NFC Championship game, but they had 3 guys that were, had like 800 yards. But last year, Jordan Mason, that was the sort of bell cow. He had
9 touchdowns,
789.
right? Or no, 3 touches, excuse me.
Yeah, 3 touchdowns, 9 plays over 20 yards, and I bet you 3 of them were in that first game against the Seahawks.
Purdy had the most rushing touchdowns for him last year.
Yeah.
Had 5 rushing touchdowns.
So, and then Isaac Guerrero is another guy that they just plugged in, the running back. So, and these guys are late, draft choices or whatever. So, yeah, I mean, I think, much like the Cardinals, they drafted heavy defense. Like their first 5 picks were defenders. So, yeah, I mean, I just Nick Bosa is kind of, declining a little bit. If you look at his numbers, I mean, 2-3 years ago, 2022, he had 18.5 sacks, led the NFL. And then, it went 10.5 and then down to 9. He missed 3 games last year. So, yeah, it's they went heavy defense, and we'll see. And I thought it was wise to reward Fred Warner for sure. But,
yeah.
But, some of these, especially the turnover ratio, man, it just doesn't sound like a Kyle Shanahan coach team.
So what do you, in looking at them, and we'll see ultimately what rosters look like. Everybody's still an unfinished product out there. But what do you – I expect them to be decidedly better than they were last year. I mean, it just, again, every player of note. It wasn't just guys at the back end of the roster that were out. I mean, your stars were hurt.
Right.
So I expect if they're healthy, they're going to be a problem again.
Right.
Regardless of how we may feel about, well, this guy's not that great or that guy didn't have a big season. I don't know. They're one of the – everybody in the division is a problem, whether they're having a good year or a bad year. But I expect the 49ers to be in the thick of it.
Yeah, I do too. And I think a lot of it is because of the coaching. But, you look at – I think you don't have to look any further than Jordan Mason and Isaac Guerrero. Now, these guys didn't light the world on fire, but they were efficient and they got plugged in, and, they have such a good run game that, and a little bit of that's going to, I think, be on display here. With Clint Kubiak coming out of that system as well. So, and there's a lot of connections between Kubiak and Shanahan. That goes back to when I was on the team in Denver with Mike Shanahan, and Kubiak was, like an offensive specialist or whatever. His dad, Gary.
Yeah.
And then, Clint kind of grew up in that. So, I mean, you look at Jordan Mason and Guerrero. Those are guys that are, weren't first-round draft choices or anything, and yet they've, plugged him in and had some success.
A couple of comments. Bill Barnwell named the 49ers the team least likely to use the word rebuild. Yeah. And his quote is, the 49ers aren't in a position where they can afford to truly rebuild. They have a core of stars who are either in the prime of their careers or on their way down from lofty peaks.
Right.
And then ESPN's Aaron Schatz said the 49ers are the NFL's most likely worst to first team.
Yeah.
So they're expecting him to be back in the thick of it. Then that, again, all of this is barring injury. That's true of any team. And we saw what injury did to this team last year. So, yeah, if they're healthy, I tend to agree. I don't know if they're going to be first place, but I expect them to be right in the thick of it again.
Yeah, I totally agree. And you look at some of the pieces that they have, like, we talked about, their captain on defense and their captain on offense, Brock Purdy and Fred Warner, they locked those guys up. And same thing with George Kittle, too. He signed a 4-year extension. So
there you go.
All right, Matt, can you give us your best effort? Kyle Juszczyk.
Can you use it in a sentence?
Kyle Juszczyk just signed a deal with the San Francisco 49ers.
Country of origin. Okay.
Let's see. I'm going to say Czechoslovakia.
Okay. We talked about this earlier in the show, and I promised not to look it up, and I didn't. But the one thing I said was, I remember there being a J in the name. And you said, well, obviously. And I got to be honest, I still don't think that's very obvious. And I think I should be commended for remembering that. Does it start with that J?
Yeah, that's just because we always called him Kyle J, because you don't want to go into the Juszczyk.
Oh, of course. Yeah, Kyle J. We all know Kyle J.
Yeah.
J.
Let's go. You're stalling.
Of course. J. U.
Yes.
Z. Gosh darn it.
I wouldn't have gotten it either. I'm looking at it, but
I give up. That's just
it's
a
letter
Scrabble
that
nightmare.
has a S sound.
Bob, you better throw it to break now, or we're going to get an FCC fine of epic proportions.
All right. JUSZCZYK.
Oh, of course. It was so simple. How could I have been such a moron?
You were so close.
Can't believe you didn't get that.
You got the first
I'm ashamed.
Should be. So
Sound it
easy.
out, man. What's the matter with you?
Come on, Smith, Davis, Juszczyk, they're all right. Easy. All right, what is Cal Raleigh most looking forward to at the All-Star game? We're going to hear what he had to say to reporters about all of that coming up next. It's Wyman and Bob. This is Seattle Sports on 710.
ESPN senior MLB insider Jeff Passett with Brock and Salk.
I'm leaning a little bit more into that Bregman train.
I think there's a question of could versus should versus would. Could they? Sure. Should they? Absolutely. Would they? We get back to the same question that we do every offseason. Would the Mariners go out and spend real money on a guy? Up to this point, they have not shown a willingness to do that.
Get more on the Seattle Sports YouTube page and the Seattle Sports app.
Hey, everybody, it's Bob Stelton here. Let me tell you about one of the best decisions I've ever made in my life. I went to K2 Vision for refractive lens exchange. Now, I'm somebody who struggled with up-close vision. I couldn't read restaurant menus. I couldn't read receipts. I couldn't read the text on my phone. I had this crazy large font on there. I put the readers away. I went to K2 Vision, and I'm actually reading some of what I'm saying to you right now. I couldn't do that before. It's amazing. So if you're like me, you struggle with distance vision, or you always need a pair of glasses, K2 Vision RLE is quick. It's absolutely painless, and I am seeing great without glasses or readers. RLE is a game changer. I'm excited to spend my good active years not needing reading glasses. K2 Vision RLE gave me great vision that, more importantly, is permanent. The doctors at K2 Vision have performed over 150,000 lens procedures, so they know when RLE is right for you. Schedule your free Zoom consultation today at K2VisionRLE.com. K2 Vision RLE. No readers, glasses, contacts, or cataracts. That's K2VisionRLE.com.
Your time to save at the Bud Sidewalk Sale. We're overstocked with golf balls and gloves. Pick up a dozen golf balls and a FootJoy glove, and you're out of there for under $20. Thousands of items for 4 days only, but it all ends Sunday.
Hey, Green Gobbler here. So you've got a clogged drain in your bathroom. Water in the sink's overstaying its welcome. You're spitting today's toothpaste on top of yesterday's toothpaste. You hope that it go away. Yeah, clogs don't just go away. I make them go away. I'm Green Gobbler, the only clog dissolver you need. I'm bleach-free, safe for your pipes, and I work. Guaranteed or your money back. Because I never met a clog that was gonna unclog itself. Green Gobbler. Let the gobbler get it.
When you bundle renters and auto with Progressive, you can save while protecting your most valuable possessions, like your priceless vinyl collection. Sure, you sleep on a futon because the money most people would have spent on a bed you spent on more records. But forget the fact that you can stream just about any song ever created for a few dollars a month. No, you need to listen to music in the most difficult way possible. So go ahead and get Progressive so you can save while protecting the things that matter to you. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates and other insurers. Not available in all states or situations.
Tired of sitting on your suitcase? 2 words. Packing cubes. Sometimes a different way is the better way. Like the SR 509 Expressway, an alternate route that'll help manage congestion on I-5 and other local roads. Now open and free through summer.
Heading to the ball game? Don't mess with traffic and pricey parking fees. Make it easy and ride the bus. It's affordable and convenient. No stress, no hassle. And plenty of time to grab a hot dog before first pitch. Community Transit makes riding the bus fun, easy, and affordable. You save money on parking, and kids under 18 ride for free. See where they can take you and plan your trip today. Go to Community Transit at ctgo.org/homerun.
Guys, did you know your testosterone level impacts your energy, libido, sleep, weight, hair loss, mood, and even ED? And right now, Revive Men's Health Seattle will check your testosterone for free. They've helped thousands of men since 2011 feel and perform better. They're so confident they can help you, they even guarantee it. Schedule your free testosterone test, exam, and consultation today. Call 206-529-1111. That's 206-529-1111. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
The home of the Mariners.
Lift off to center. It is on its way. Julio, 2-run home run.
Hear every pitch on 710 and the Seattle Sports app.
Throw down to second base. Tagged by JP on the money, and he is out.
Home. Home is your domain, where you know every inch like the back of your hand.
Julio racing back out of the warning track, but he makes the catch, and he flashes to the no-fly zone.
A place that brings out your protective side. And a place you'll always stand up for.
Going, it will fly away.
Because what's inside is the most valuable thing in the world. Your family. Mariners baseball at T-Mobile Park. Welcome home.
Don't miss tomorrow's 4th of July celebration at T-Mobile Park. The Mariners take on the Pirates at 1:10, and the first 10,000 fans will get a patriotic trucker hat. Then the fun continues with J.P. Crawford basketball jersey night Saturday at 7:10, when the first 15,000 fans score a one-of-a-kind jersey. Tickets at mariners.com.
There's a sink at the brink and a drain that's a pain.
Dayandnight.net.
You got a pipe with a leak, water's reaching its peak.
Dayandnight.net.
Your old water heater, she's starting to peter.
Dayandnight.net.
The throne's not too well, and ooh, does it smell?
Dayandnight.net.
Have a clogged drain, water heater issue, or plumbing repair, and wish you could get a second opinion? Maybe it's sticker shock, or you'd like to know your options. Hi, I'm Bruce, General Manager of Day and Night Plumbing and Heating. Don't feel trapped. Do the smart thing and get a second opinion. Day and Night will provide you with a fair and honest quote, explain all your options, and help you with the right solution. Give us a call or visit dayandnight.net. I guarantee you, whether Day and Night is your first choice or smart second opinion, we'll work harder than anyone to earn your trust.
Dayandnight.net.
Wyman and Bob.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
Weekdays 2 to 7.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Dave, I don't know if you knew this, but Cal Raleigh is going to be an all-star.
What?
Starting catcher. He's going to be in the home run derby. So he's doing a lot of press. A lot of people talking to Cal about what's going on, what he expects, what's he looking forward to. And he was meeting with the media out here, and here he is just talking about what it is he's looking forward to at the All-Star game.
Yeah, I mean, I think just getting to talk to some guys, be around them, pick their brain, just kind of share a locker room with them. And I think it'll be a lot of fun. It's, you never know if you're going to get that chance to do it again. So I'm going to try to soak it all in and talk to as many people as I can and soak it all up, I guess. So
I want you to note he called it a locker room.
I was just going to say that. Like, I used to get ripped.
Oh,
for calling it a locker room.
That was the sign that you didn't know ball.
Yeah, exactly.
When you called the clubhouse a locker room.
Right.
I can't. I'm telling you, at least 75% of the players that I talk to or I hear talking about it, they all call it a locker room.
Yeah.
I almost don't hear clubhouse very often anymore.
Do you think is that equivalent to like guarding versus covering?
I think it is. I think it's just the newer generation of players. It's just how they talk, and they don't, the old school fans, baseball hardcores would get really upset if you called it a locker room. It's a clubhouse.
Yeah.
You tell that to the players that are in there. Tell it to the guys that are actually in the clubhouse.
Yeah, I'm going to go with them, whatever they're saying. But
yeah, guarding's the same thing. We're hearing guys that are actually playing at the highest level of football saying guard.
Yeah. Bob,
it's a guardage.
There are no guardages.
It's a guardage,
It's
Dave.
a coverage.
It's a guardage.
But, I heard, yeah, exactly. I heard from Dan Wilson kind of the same thing that, like, hey, I hope he goes there and just soaks it up and everything. And, that's great advice. And, Cal's, he is so steady, man. I mean, this is a ton of stuff that he's doing. I was telling you yesterday about, I actually sat through the Pat McAfee interview. I don't mind that show. I'll be honest, but
I'm not a fan.
There's lots of times where they all say something or they do some weird clap, and I'm like, that's hokey.
Well, as soon as you told me they're asking him, how do you determine whether you hit left-handed or right-handed, that would have driven me nuts. I'd have been like,
yeah,
okay, come on.
But like I said, man, Cal bailed him out. He's just like,
that's gracious.
Yeah. So, I think he's really handling it well because, I mean, he's gone from like 0 to 100 as far as all of the media stuff that he's doing right now.
Well, and here he is talking about how it feels to be getting that national recognition.
Yeah, I mean, it's nice. It's nice to see your hard work pay off and, on a bigger stage and trying to get the, not just trying to play as well as I can, but trying to get the Mariners out there as well, trying to boost us up as well and try to, get us on a bigger stage and trying to help, our kind of brand in the sense of, we are a winning baseball club. We have a good team over here and I do know from experience, just being on the East Coast, the West Coast teams don't get as much love sometimes. So just trying to do as much as we can to put ourselves in a good position. And, it starts by our play on the field. And, I think we've done a decent job of that so far.
Cal Raleigh for governor. He's not going to coach Major League Baseball. He's going
to be don't go into politics. That's gross.
And it's great. I mean, he's obviously talking about the team, and he's always been that way. It's always been about, I don't care about the personal goals. It's about this team, and talks about getting them some notoriety and all that. So yeah, he's just handling it well. And like we were talking about the home run derby practice and all that. I mean, if it's something physical is going to, wear Cal down at some point, okay, but I don't think that there's going to be any problem with him as far as it getting into his head or anything like that. He's just, like I said, just such a steady character.
Here he is talking about what it is he's learned about himself this year.
Yeah, I think it's just all about compartmentalizing, just really just trying to focus on the things that you can control and focus on things that are important. And there's a lot of things off the field that might come your way or might, grab your attention. But, at the end of the day, it's what we always talk about. It's coming ready to go about 7 o'clock every night. So if I can turn my attention to that, then it's all about just compartmentalizing and handling that stuff, gracefully and doing the right things. And, but like I said, making sure you turn your attention to the most important thing, which is, the game, which is my at-bats, which is, taking care of the staff and, winning baseball games.
Yeah. Just focusing on what it is he's got to do and improving himself. And I mean, he's turned into a leader, not by, rah-rah speeches and all that, but just being that steadying force out there and just leading by example.
Yeah, I thought that was a great word for him to use, gracefully. Being respectful and, just soaking it all in, not becoming somebody different. I mean, he is just, again, he doesn't ever sound irritated. But if I was him, I would be irritated. Like, everybody wants a piece of Cal right now, right?
You're an angry guy, though.
Yeah.
So, one more. Here he is just talking about the home run derby. And it's basically saying, I could hit no home runs, and it would still be a cool thing to be out there doing with my dad.
Yeah, it's going to be great. My dad obviously throwing to me. Brother's going to be catching it, which is going to be a lot of fun. And it'll be just a really cool thing to experience with them. So, they've kind of been along for the ride the whole way, since I got drafted. And obviously my dad's been, throwing to me for 20-something years, so he probably knows where I like it best. So it'll be a lot of fun, and it'll be, I get hit 0 home runs, and I think it'll still be a really fun time to experience with him. So.
You think his brother would be back there behind him going, come on, you sissy. you can't hit one. I wonder if they have that kind of relationship where he'd talk smack to him.
Yeah.
You're telling me you can't hit one home run here? Really? Come on.
That's a pretty big age gap there. Was he 15?
I think he's 15, I think.
And Cal's 28?
28, yeah.
But how awesome for him to get his family involved there.
Yeah, that's very cool.
Yeah.
That'll be a lot. So we'll hear more from Cal today at 5 o'clock during the Cal Raleigh show. Meanwhile, we can't start celebrating the 4th of July weekend until we've talked to Paul Moyer. Those are the rules. He's going to join us next with Wyman and Bob at Seattle Sports on 710.
We've got some breaking news.
And the next offer on the way to Cal, swinging a drive deep to right field.
Big Dumper is in the Derby.
Goodbye, baseball.
You're going to get tossed meatballs and stuff. All you got to do is connect. You have enough power. You got a big dumper. That ball is going to travel.
What would happen if you switched Cal and Judge? Like, what if Cal was doing this for the Yankees and Judge was doing this for the Mariners? Who's the MVP then?
Hear Cal Raleigh in the Home Run Derby Monday, July 14th, right here on Seattle Sports.
Hey, Brock Hewitt here from my friends at PCF Group, or People Come First Construction Group, and that's exactly what they did when we made the call a couple years ago. We wanted to redo our outdoor space, wanted to add a deck, an outdoor living, a television, and a kitchen. And PCF Group, wow, they more than delivered. And if you're interested in building a stunning outdoor area like we did, I cannot recommend them enough. Reach out before the good weather arrives, and their schedule, well, it's going to fill up. So whether you're looking for a complete outdoor living space or a very specific project like an underdeck ceiling, deck, patio cover, railings, PCF has you covered. Design now and pay later. In fact, get 12 months, no interest and no payments, and up to $6,000 off and a $1,000 Amazon gift card. Request a complimentary design and estimate consultation at 425-629-8476 or project ideas. Explore photos at pcfgroup.com. That's 425-629-8476.
Staples presents That Was Easy.
So I was taking my side hustle full-time.
Bold move, my friend.
And I needed to find everything in one stop.
Like finding Bigfoot riding a unicorn.
Yes, so I hit the Staples Easy button. Staples had everything for a new office and print services for signs and brochures. Plus, Cindy, the Staples associate, helped me find the best tech for me.
Wait, no drama?
No, Staples made it easy.
For the products, services, and experts your business needs. Staples.
That was easy.
In-store, online, and on the app.
When you bundle renters and auto with Progressive, you can save while protecting your most valuable possessions. Like your really expensive limited edition sneakers and your new suit for your cousin's wedding. Except you never actually bought the suit because you can't stop buying sneakers. So you show up to the wedding looking like you're going grocery shopping. But hey, at least your sneakers will look good in the pictures. Until you're cropped out of every last one of them. So go ahead and get Progressive so you can save while protecting the things that matter to you. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates and other insurers. Not available in all states or situations.
Do you have a car you'd like to sell but don't want to go through all the hassle? With all the scams and security risks out there, more and more people are uncomfortable selling their own car. So how do you get the most money for your used car without selling it yourself? Stacy here with the answer. Wayscar Ford in Auburn. Not only will they purchase your car and pay you right up front for it, but it gets way better. Once they resell your old car, they share half the profit with you. The question I get most from my friends and colleagues is, what's the catch? And how can they offer this? It's super simple. All the money they save by not traveling to buy cars at auctions, like purchase fees, shipping, and travel expenses, is what allows them to offer this. They'd rather share that money they save with you than outside vendors. They encourage you to shop around, but if Wayscar Ford can pay you the same or more as their competitors and then share half their profit with you once they resell your car, why would you sell your car anywhere else? They've already shared over $800,000 with customers, and it's only at Wayscar Ford. That's wayscarford.com, Wayscar Ford in Auburn.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? Hey, that's the spirit. Right now, we're celebrating free with a free STP oil filter when you buy 5 quarts of oil and free Duralast brake pads when you buy 2 rotors. Like always, free battery testing, charging, and recycling at every store. Celebrate free at AutoZone, now through July 28th.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
John always listens to his truck. So when his brakes start talking, he goes to AutoZone, where a helpful AutoZoner gets him the right parts. If John has time to put them in, he borrows a kit with Loan-A-Tool. And if he doesn't, he gets a free shop referral. No hassles, just help. Everything you need, nothing you don't.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Deposit required for Loan-A-Tool. Restrictions apply.
1877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cards for Kids. 1877 Cards for Kids. Donate your card today.
1877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Donate your car today at carsforkids.org. That's cars with a K. Your car, running or not, can be picked up as soon as the next day. You'll get a maximum tax deduction and a vacation voucher.
1877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Now accepting donations of land, homes, buildings, or any kind of real estate.
Let's go! This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports. Seattle Sports Snapshot.
Mariners picking up a big win last night. They're looking to get the series win tonight when they send Logan Evans to the hill. He's being called up from AAA Tacoma, and that pushes everybody else back a day in that rotation. So you can catch all of the action of that game at 6 o'clock tonight, a little later than previous game, 6 o'clock pregame, 7:10 first pitch. Meanwhile, game going on right now. Astros trailing the Rockies in the top of the ninth inning in Colorado. 7-6 the score. They've got runners on first and second with Mariners superfan Cooper Hummel at the plate, and he flies out. The game is over. They hang on. The Rockies hang on to win the game 7-6. They did their best to give it away, but they hung on. So the Astros lose. Mariners can gain some ground if they can pull off the win tonight. Other games that are in the books, the Marlins beat the Twins 4-1. Still to come, about to get going, Tigers and Nationals. Yankees on the road taking on the Blue Jays. It's the Mets hosting the Brewers. Braves play host to the Angels. Guardians on the road to take on the Cubs. Giants in Arizona to face the Diamondbacks. And the Dodgers host the White Sox.
Snapshot brought to you by Miller Lite. When it's game time, it's Miller time.
This is the moment many wait for.
The most entertaining.
A man of wisdom, a man of experience, Dave.
The most informative.
To bring light to a dark subject. To bring positivity to a negative world.
The incredible Paul Moyer.
Moyer out.
The incredible Paul Moyer is with us on the Emerald Queen Casino Sportsbook Hotline. Hello, Paul.
Good afternoon and happy pre-4th to y'all.
And to you as well. Dave and I were just sitting here watching the Rockies-Astros matchup like we were hardcore, longtime Rocky fans. And we got a really clear picture, Paul, as to why they stink as badly as they do. We were watching their outfielders just diving all over the place, misplaying one ball after another, and watching this team doing their best to choke away a lead, and they were able to hang on and beat the Astros 7-6.
We'll take it. I mean, that's funny. I was talking with my son. I said this series and the Pittsburgh series are so critical because we come out after the 4th of July weekend. You got the Yankees and Detroit, two of the best teams probably outside the Astros right now in the American League. And I just don't see Houston, man, just nothing in sight. You know, I mean, they've beaten really good teams. They got the Dodgers this weekend, so we'll really see how good they are. But yeah, any loss from Houston right now it feels good because, you know, the Mariners aren't playing terrible. You know, they're winning series. They got a few bumps in the road, but even when we went 7-3, you know, we lost a game over a 10-game stretch with them. So Houston is they're back, and I hate him still.
Hey, Rosarena, very hot right now. And then, you know, Julio, he got rewarded for hitting a hard grounder, basically. And, you know, those two guys, I mean, we're always talking about who's going to help Cal out. Because Cal, you know, you take his numbers away and it's not good. But, you know, as far as the Rosarena goes, I mean, obviously can't continue on this pace. But you think there's some good signs from both of those guys?
Well, for sure, you know, with Randy, I mean, we've needed that. I mean, not only was he not hitting with average, you know, he wasn't, you know, with his power numbers. Before he got hot, he only had 8 home runs. And, you know, Cal's cooled off a little bit. Maybe not an on-base percentage, but, you know, his home runs have slowed down just a bit. So we're not quite as dependent on, you know, we had been over the last 6 weeks prior. But, you know, this team right now is just they're so frustrating to me because, you know, there's days where you go, man, if we just get 2 runs, we win. And then there's other times we score 6 and you know, we get an extra inning game and our bullpen gets used. And you still get frustrated with Garver. And then all of a sudden Garver comes out of nowhere. And I said, man, I'm so glad we kept Garver and Solano and all these guys. I just think right now you look at our lineup. It's from an offensive standpoint. When you look at the lineup now, you go, okay, you know, 1 through 9, somebody can hurt you there. And depending on the matchups, you know, with, well, again, Luke Raley back certainly helps a lot also. But, you know, Canzone's got power. You know, I think the matchups, you know, everything's there for them. You know, I don't love that we're dependent on so many young guys, you know, in the infield. But it is what it is, you know, until they make a trade and try to bolster that lineup. But I like this team. You know, I mean, it's a team that has righty lefties, tough matchups, and if we don't have to depend on one guy the whole time, it feels better this year certainly than it did last year. Yeah, they've got the potential and they show it here and there. Their problem is consistency, and you could say that as a team and say that individually going through the lineup, and you know.
I guess Julio is the biggest question mark because he's the biggest star on the team still to this point. And he's a guy that, Dave and I get accused of, oh, you guys are always picking on him. And I'm like, we're not picking on him. I love the guy. And we've seen him dominate. But the problem is he's just so wildly inconsistent. And he's in this weird spot now, Paul, where he's getting base hits. I mean, I think he still leads the team in hits. Kid drove in he had an infield hit last night. It turned out to be the winning run for the team. So he's got moments, but he's just beating the ball into the ground. We're not seeing him do any damage. The slug numbers are way down there. And and his average with runners in scoring position is just, like 216. So, he's a guy that you look at and go, he's got superstar talent. We've seen it. We've watched it. Yet when he steps up to the plate, I'm kind of going, yeah, I don't have a lot of confidence he's going to come through here. How do you feel when he steps up to the plate and it's a crucial situation? Where would you say your confidence is at?
Yeah, not good. I mean, not right now. He's not the guy you want up with 2 outs right now. Yeah, I mean, when you look at his slugging percentages, it's under 400. It's 399. I guess we can round it up to 400. His OPS 711. I mean, for a guy of his caliber and power and everything that he does, you would obviously expect it to be higher. The WAR numbers, again, I guess I really don't understand WAR because his WAR numbers are still pretty elite. He's at 3.3 right now. And, other than Cal, he's second on the team there. I think what's frustrating for us when we watch Julio is we know what he's capable of. We've seen it. We've seen him go on these runs, these power runs. We've seen it in the home run derbies along the way. Now teams have actually, they said, hey, here's what we know. We know you chase. We're going to make you chase, outside the zone. You get 10 at-bats from him, he's going to have 3 or 4 where you go, okay, that's Julio. Where I think the challenge is, but then there's 3 or 4 that are just non-competitive at-bats, where he's swinging at such bad pitches where I go, oh, you just guessed. I mean, you said, I'm swinging at this no matter what. And there's been times where I go, well, you had to because I was 2 feet outside. And so if we just, if it was 1 or 2 non-competitive at-bats, I mean, the strikeouts, hit the ball hard, into the gaps, anything, then you're going, okay, that 255 average and all that stuff, you go, I can live with it. But it's the non-competitive at-bats, and particularly with 2 outs, and when they know how to pitch to him and he has to hit a mistake. It's just tough. He's still good. I just we want him to be one of the top 10 players in Major League Baseball, and he's just not at that level right now.
Is there anybody that you have your eye on as far as the trade deadline goes? We were talking to John Paul Morosi yesterday, and he just said he thought Eugenio Suarez was a slam dunk. Not that it's going to happen, but that he would be the best fit. What about you? Who are you eyeballing?
Well, I'd love to have Suarez back because he's a good third baseman. He was an average third baseman before we got him. And then, he became a very good third baseman for us. He's got power. He's having a great year. Look, I like Williamson. There's things to it, but the power numbers aren't there. It would be great to actually bring him, a veteran behind him. I don't know what you would do with him, if you would keep him up or put him back down to AAA to keep his at-bats going. I think where I struggle right now is, well, what position do I really want us to improve on? And I mean really improve on. I mean, at third, the power numbers would be great. I mean, we are a team that walks a lot and hits home runs. We're not a team that's going to hit 3 singles in a row and score. So the guys you bring in, then you either say, well, we're going to try to add to that, but more than likely you're going to bring someone who's got power. And let's work the walks, get some guys on base, and Suarez is a perfect addition for that. But you got Luke Raley, over at first. Solano, who has played better. I mean, he's historically good. So what is it? What are we looking to do? Are we looking to get a superstar? And in years past, we would say we need anybody. And that's an upgrade because the guy who's playing that position is batting 200. We don't have any of those now. Now we've got guys who are batting 240, 250 that are, productive at times. So I don't know, unless you make a huge splash for, a couple of rental players, I mean, I think the time is right for it. You know, this definitely is a team that can beat anybody in this league. So that's my long-winded question. Like most of us, we have no idea, and I have no idea. And I really don't know what the one position I want to upgrade the most.
Well, we've talked about this, and the key part of what you said there is you got guys that are hitting 250 and they're productive at times. You can't have that. Yeah. That's the problem. Your entire infield is lacking production except for your catcher spot. And that's not I love Ben Williamson. He's been great. He's done a nice job keeping the average up there around 250-ish for his first year in the big leagues, but he's just not doing any damage at all. You got one home run out of third base. Yeah. You cannot have that. You're not getting production out of first base, even though Solano's turned things around a bit. He's hitting 252. He's not doing damage, and Cole Young isn't doing damage. Neither is JP. You know, in certain spots you don't expect it. I'm not expecting it from Cole Young. I'm not expecting it from JP, but your entire infield is devoid of slug. So you've got, I look at first and third and say you got to address one or both of those spots and get some production there. And you know what they do is going to be. I mean, every year it feels intriguing, like we're on the edge of our seat. Are they going to actually do something? This year feels even more dire. Feels even more. I don't know. I'm anticipating even more than I have in the past because I don't know what they're going to do. Are they going to go for it? Are they going to capitalize on this rotation while they've got it intact before guys get expensive? What do they do? How much urgency is there with this front office?
Yeah, we're going to find out. I think one of the other things that's an issue is there's just not that much out there. And there's a lot of teams that are still in it, right? So, you know, it's expensive to go and try and find somebody that is under contract for, you know, it's not a rent-a-player. But there's some guys out there. Maybe it won't cost you that much. If you could get Suarez back, there's so many positives to that. Everybody loves him. The fans love him. I think there would bring some juice, you know, to everybody, just that excitement. Again, we know he's got the power numbers. You know he's a good third baseman. He knows the clubhouse. The players I mean, that to me is, if you can get him at just a reasonable number, maybe even more than reasonable, or not reasonable. I guess that would be the right word there. I'd go get him. It's just but you know, that means the Diamondbacks want to trade him, and that means they're completely out of it. So we'll see. I think we're good enough right now. Look, we're the teams chasing us in the wild card are Texas and the Angels. We got 2.5, 3.5 games ahead of them. Boston, Cleveland are half game behind that. So we know what's in front of us. I think Houston is going to be a very difficult climb just because they're playing so well. Their pitching is ridiculous. That's just 7 games, man. That means they've got to lose 2 out of 3. You got to win 2 out of 3 for 7 straight series. I mean, that's a tough climb. So, I'm okay with us right now, but I'd love for them to get somebody.
Paul, you said clubhouse instead of locker room, so you must not know baseball.
Clubhouse?
I remember getting ripped for calling it a locker room, and now the guys are calling it the locker room.
The players are, yeah.
The players even, yeah. And then
they don't know.
And then the other one, Paul, and I don't know if you're with me on this
they
one.
Don't know.
They don't know ball.
They don't know.
The other one that bothers me is guard instead of cover. To me, because they're not guardages, Paul. They're coverages. So in football, but
I'm going to slip on that one. Because you've done that to me so many times now, I start to say it. I say, oh, I better cover him. But, you know, I might slip a guard out every once in a while. I'm just saying.
Just to keep the kids happy.
Yeah, you know,
the younger
keep you
kids.
on your toes.
It's a guardage. They've turned it into a guardage.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
It was good. Hey, real quick, I went to the Ranger game, Mariners on Sunday.
We saw you.
Took the whole fam.
Whole
yep.
family.
Thank you. Yep. Throw a little picture at you guys so you can see how cute the fam is. And, you know, they do a good job there. You know, the Ranger, I think I've mentioned this to you guys before. For those who've never been to the Globe Field, have never been there before. You know, on the outside, you go, you know, it looks like a field house. As a matter of fact, the one that they left looks awesome from the outside. But man, I'll tell you what, inside, that is a really cool ballpark. And, you know, they have really good food. Last year, or maybe 2 years ago, I went, their food was horrible. But, they definitely have more of the Tex, barbecue stuff around there. You can walk around. They got a really cool kids section. And then it's 74 degrees when that thing is closed. And it was comfortable, really good sight lines. So here's what I'm saying. If the Mariners don't get their act together, I could easily slide into a Ranger fan.
No. You stop that right now, Paul.
He didn't say Astros. He didn't say Astros.
Yeah, you don't go to a division rival, Paul. Come on, man. What are you thinking here? You're smarter than that.
You give him a couple of good meals. And
you can't be bought that easily.
Yeah.
You're Paul Moyer, damn it.
74 degrees.
It's 74 degrees there. It's a little far from my house out here. That's the only downside to it. And parking's not great. But they're just kind of a franchise that I don't really hate.
Yeah, that's
you know what I mean?
That's okay. You don't have to hate them, but you can't root for them, Paul. Come on, man.
Okay.
It'd be different if it were a National League team. You're like, look, they don't really compete with the Mariners. Yeah, they play them a couple times a year, but it's a different league. It's the National League. Then I could go with you on that. But you're talking about a team in the Mariners division. You can't go there. That'd be like saying you're going to be a 49er fan.
No, that's not. No, we can't put that in the same ballpark. It'd be like me being a
Cardinal fan.
There you go. Not a threat.
It's like, yeah.
You're out there in a Kyler Murray jersey, running around, pumping your fists.
I don't look good, Brett. No, I don't look good. And here's the other thing, Bob. I was kind of bluffing. I'm just hoping the Mariners heard me. That I said, hey, if you don't get your act together, I could.
Yeah, okay.
I don't want to lose you, that's for sure.
Yeah. Hopefully they hear that your fandom is up for debate right now, and they're going to do what they can to secure it. Let's hope that it spurs them on to great things. Hey, Paul, as far as the Seahawks go, we already got promos running 25 days until training camp. I mean, it's right around the corner. And we're seeing some teams make moves out there. And Dave and I will talk about this later in the show, but there was an article out there about TJ Watt. Apparently, he's unhappy with his contract. He has not shown up for mini camps or their OTAs or whatever they've had. And there's speculation they could entertain trade offers. And there was an article that listed 5 teams that could be in the running for him, one of which was the Seahawks. Would you want to see him make a move like that?
Well, you can't have enough good players. How old's TJ Watt?
I'll look it up. Go ahead and give your answer, and I'll look it up.
While you're looking at, and I should have looked it up while you were, as soon as you mentioned that, but I sat back on my comfortable little couch here and said, I'm going to let you guys work for it.
That's right.
He's 30.
Yes, I mean, 30, you're getting past that prime moment, and it's like anything. It's one thing if he was a free agent. It's another thing when I got to give up draft capital in the future and all that stuff. I don't know what I'm assuming a guy like him's a first-round pick. Maybe not. Maybe he's second. I mean, DK Metcalf, we got a second for, right? So, yes, I would take him in a heartbeat. I don't think it's a need for us. I think we got edge rushers. I think but you give, Coach McDonald a guy like him and let him call whatever he wants to on that. I mean, I love the Watt family. I mean, their motor is incredible. They're all productive, really good football players. So, but yeah, I'd take them. Just what am I giving up?
Yeah. He had a down year last year, 11.5 sacks.
Yeah, he sucks.
The year before he had 19. In 21, he had 22.5 sacks.
Yeah.
So he went 22, 19, 11.
11.5, yeah.
11.5. He's still a really good football player. And I think the system we run, I mean, Madonna would be all over that. I just, nowadays trading for 30-year-olds, man, and the cap hit that you get. So he's unhappy with his contract, which means the Seahawks would have to trade a fortune for, or pay a fortune to him.
Yeah.
So it doesn't look good. It's certainly not a need. That would be a want type of deal. And as much as I want him, I don't see it happening.
Hey, Paul, also we were looking around the rest of the division, and we did Arizona, looked at the Rams today. We're looking at the 49ers. Looking at their record, gosh, for some reason I don't remember them being 6-11, especially the way they came in and just killed us in that first game in the series. But Yeah, I mean, who do you think's the biggest threat? I kind of settle on the Rams. I think the Cardinals are still trying to figure things out, but what do you think? Do you think the 49ers are going to return to dominance in this division?
I hope not. They've had to they've gotten rid of a lot of really good football players. They are such up against that cap, and they're still in a bit of a hurting mode there. I think the 49ers is just the system they have, the mystique they have as well. They obviously have some great players. I mean, Bosa's one of the greatest. Their middle linebackers, Fred Warner was one of my favorite players. But they're getting up there, and they've been injured a bunch. So this is the part where I don't get why the national media or whatever who's throwing these things out there have the Seahawks over-under for wins like 7. I don't get that. Yeah. I know the Rams, they just find a way. I think they get an extra couple of wins, at least that people perceive, because of McVay. I mean, he's just a proven guy that just he finds ways to win. He's a Bill Belichick kind of guy. So I don't get it. I think the 49ers take a step back. I think the Rams, maybe more neutral with the possibility of taking a step back. Arizona's not there defensively. I think the Seahawks are the ones. I really do. I think they would be the ones when you're looking at all the teams who would surprise this year. I mean, it's got to be the Seahawks. So, the 49ers are good. They make me nervous. They've always been a tough matchup, but I think us beating them the second game last year maybe knocked that chink off their armor just a bit, and they're susceptible now. And again, I'm sticking to my deal. I think the Hawks are going to win the NFC West this year.
Are you babysitting, Paul?
Could you hear babies in the background?
I heard somebody who sounded unhappy back there.
We have been, Mama and I have been babysitting like crazy. You guys know I got 3 granddaughters, 3.5 years and younger, and Nick has his second. So my 4th granddaughter is scheduled July 20th.
Wow.
So and I'm pretty good. We got a really cool little community, with pools and a little golf course. And so I take them out a bunch, but I am exhausted.
They're just wearing you out.
And the games, like tonight's game starts at 9:10 here. I'll be back this weekend, but 9:10, I'm going to do my best, but yeah.
You'll be asleep.
So the reason why you hear my babies in our house is my son's house is got a little flood issue, so they came in and redoing the whole inside of the house, kitchen, everything. So
this is a guy who
with us.
Gets hit in the nuts, keeps playing, tough guy, toughest guy ever, and he's getting whooped by a bunch of little girls.
Little girls are wearing him out.
And you're spoiling him to death. I love it.
I do. Dave, here's what I'm going to compare it to, Dave. When you're working out and you do 7-on-7 and you're getting ready for the season and everything's good and you finish with gassers.
Oh,
the gas, and you're going, oh man, I'm so exhausted now. That's me. My grandkids are gassers for me. I enjoy leading up to it, but boy, they make me tired.
Paul just wants to lay down.
That's awesome.
Just lay down. Paul, we appreciate you. Happy
Thanks,
4th
Paul.
to you. Have a great weekend, and we'll talk to you next week.
All right, guys. Appreciate you. Have a great night.
There you go. Paul Moyer, everybody.
God, did you say 4?
Yeah, he's got one on the way in mid-July.
Another girl?
Yeah.
Holy smokes.
He's outnumbered.
Daddy-o.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, he is. All right, there you go. If you missed any part of that, you can find it on the podcast page after the show at seattlesports.com. Meanwhile, is it time for the Mariners to start trading away their lauded prospects? We'll get into that conversation coming up next with Wyman and Bob at Seattle Sports on 710.
We've got some breaking news.
And the next offer on the way to Cal, swinging a drive, deep to right field.
Big Dumper is in the Derby.
Goodbye, baseball.
If you're going to get tossed some meatballs and stuff, all you got to do is connect. You have enough power. You got a big dumper. That ball is going to travel.
What would happen if you switched Cal and Judge? Like, what if Cal was doing this for the Yankees and Judge was doing this for the Mariners? Who's the MVP then?
Hear Cal Raleigh in the Home Run Derby Monday, July 14th, right here on Seattle Sports.
Hey, Brock Ewart here for my friends over at Xfinity. Change is always happening. It's part of life. And when it comes to music, we know that change is all around us. Songs are rewritten and remade. Classics are remixed. Bands and artists, well, they come and go. Even our taste in music, as we get older, can change a bit. But no matter how things change in 5 years, there's one thing that will stay the same. And that is the price of your internet. That's right. Xfinity is introducing a 5-year price guarantee. It means you get 5 years of the most reliable Wi-Fi with their best equipment included for a price that stays exactly the same. Are you surprised? Well, life is full of them. One internet price, 5 years, guaranteed. Learn more at Xfinity.com/deals. Now, restrictions apply. New residential customers only. Taxes and fees extra and subject to change. Most reliable Wi-Fi based on Open Signal Awards USA. Fixed Broadband Experience Report, August of 2024. Go check it all out right online at Xfinity.com/deals.
This is Chris Davis with the Davis Law Group. Did you know that a pedestrian does not have to be crossing the street on a marked crosswalk to have a successful legal claim against the driver? Pedestrians can even be partially at fault for a collision and still have a valuable claim. Call us today for a free consultation or get my free book on pedestrian accident law at WashingtonAccidentBooks.com. That's Davis Law Group, better service and even better results.
Hi, Zoe Saldana. Welcome to T-Mobile. Here's your new iPhone 16 Pro on us.
Thanks. And here's my old phone to trade in.
You don't need a trade-in. When you switch to T-Mobile, we'll give you a new iPhone 16 Pro. Plus, we'll help you pay off your old phone up to $800, and you still get to keep it.
There's always a trade-in.
Not right now at T-Mobile.
I feel like I have to give you something in return for karma.
That's okay.
I don't really have much in my purse. Oh, let's see. Hand sanitizer. It's lavender.
I'm good. Seriously.
Let me check this pocket. Oh, mints?
Really, I'm fine.
Oh, I have raisins. I'm a mom. Wait 1 sec. I've got cupcakes in the car.
It's our best iPhone offer ever. Switch to T-Mobile. Get a new iPhone 16 Pro with Apple Intelligence on us. No trade-in needed. We'll even pay off your phone up to $800.
With 24 monthly bill credits, new line, $100 plus a month on experience beyond finance agreement, $999.99 and qualifying forwarded. For well qualified plus tax and $10 connection charge. Pay off via virtual prepaid card allow 15 days. Credits end and balance due if you pay off early or cancel. See T-Mobile.com.
Some things can steal your sunshine. Ugh, I just got my hair done.
Sorry, the cooler's broken. Anyone see my flip-flops? Anyone?
But COVID-19 can steal a lot more.
I just took a COVID test. Ugh.
Prescription medications for COVID exist. If you test positive this summer, ask your doctor if they're right for you. Visit PfizerForAll.com/COVID-19 to learn more. Sponsored by Pfizer.
If Old Spice Deep Sea Super Hydration Body Wash were music, what would it sound like? Start with the deep sounds of Old Spice's ocean waves and kelp. Layer on the smooth, renewing moisture. You wouldn't hear any parabens or phthalates because Old Spice Deep Sea hasn't got any. But you would hear that vitamin B3 for healthier looking skin. So while your regular body wash sounds like this, Old Spice sounds like this. Sounds like it smells amazing.
20 days until Seahawks training camp. And Seahawks training camp lives on the home of the Seahawks, Seattle Sports.
When the heat's an 11,
cool AC would be heaven.
Dayandnight.net.
Some AC you'll be loving
when your house is an oven.
Dayandnight.net.
Northwest summers are beautiful, but there's always a long hot stretch that makes everyone say, man, AC sure would be nice. Well, except for that one annoying friend who won't stop talking about how great his AC is. Hi, I'm Bruce with Day and Night Plumbing and Heating. Don't sweat through another summer. Have Day and Night keep your house cool and comfortable by installing a high-efficiency AC or heat pump. Or if you have an existing system, we'll come and service it. Make sure it's running efficiently and ready to cool when you need it.
when the summer is cooking.
We're the place to be looking.
Dayandnight.net.
Stay cool this summer with Day and Night. Call now to get 10% off an air conditioner or heat pump. Plus, no payments or interest for a year OAC. Restrictions apply. Call for details.
Dayandnight.net.
Hey, Brock Hewitt here for my friends at PCF Group, or People Come First Construction Group, and that's exactly what they did when we made the call a couple years ago. We wanted to redo our outdoor space, wanted to add a deck, and outdoor living, and television, and a kitchen. And PCF Group, wow, they more than delivered. And if you're interested in building a stunning outdoor area like we did, I cannot recommend them enough. Reach out before the good weather arrives, and their schedule, well, it's going to fill up. So whether you're looking for a complete outdoor living space or a very specific project like an underdeck ceiling, deck, patio cover, railings, PCF has you covered. Design now and pay later. In fact, get 12 months, no interest and no payments, and up to $6,000 off and a $1,000 Amazon gift card. Request a complimentary design and estimate consultation at 425-629-8476 or project ideas. Explore photos at pcfgroup.com. That's 425-629-8476.
Wyman and Bob.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
Weekdays 2 to 7.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Our thanks once again to Paul Moyer, who joined us in the previous segment. In case you just tuned in and missed that conversation, you'll be able to find it on the podcast page at seattlesports.com after the show. Meanwhile, Keith Law was on with Bump and Stacy earlier this week, talking about the Mariners and their prospects and trades and all that good stuff. I want to get to some of what he said. He talked about Cole Young, who's currently up with the big club, obviously, playing second base. Talk about how, in his opinion, and we'll get to let me refresh this here, make sure we got everything. He was talking about, that he may have more trade value than Colt Emerson because he's major league ready right now. And it's basically talking about, as far as untouchables in the system for the M's, it's hard to find.
They might actually get less for him in the trade market than somebody like a Cole Young, closer to the majors, has produced at a higher level. It doesn't have anywhere near Emerson's ceiling, for example. If Emerson isn't untradeable, then I would say everyone's available at the right price, right? You're not giving these guys away. You're not giving Celestin away. You're not giving Ryan Sloan away. But I think you'd have to consider just about any of those guys in trade if you want to make a big acquisition at the trade deadline, because otherwise you're not getting a Rafael Devers type of impact in a trade.
So basically saying there shouldn't be anybody in your system that's untouchable.
Yeah.
Which I tend to agree with. I mean, there are guys, we've talked about this, Dave, that are, favorites for, or you're not so much a favorite, but somebody you're just really curious about because of their potential. Doesn't mean they're going to realize that potential at this level. They could be busts. They might not do anything at this level. But like somebody like Laz Montez, I'm just excited and very curious about his potential. What can he be? Just because he's just a huge kid, and he's a kid right now, and he's massive. He's got massive power, and I don't even know if he's got a position. He may just be a DH when he gets here.
That's what somebody was saying about him, that he might never be a position player.
Yeah, and he may not pan out. I mean, just right now, looking at him and looking at what he's doing in his brief time in the minors and the power that he's shown, that's a guy I'm like, I'm excited to see what he could become.
But so you feel an attachment to him
on some level, but I wouldn't be like, you can't trade him. I would I am hoping he's here in a Mariner uniform just to see what he turns into. But if they get something, they get a crazy return, go for it.
Right. Well, and I kind of used to feel that way about Harry Ford, but you brought up a great point that you bring him up right now, and he's going to get overwhelmed, and then it's all about that potential, right? And you can see him up against big league pitching. Might not go so well, and the trade value goes down. I'm kind of with Senja, the guy who can pitch right hand and left hand. I mean, I'm sure there are other people that can do that, but not that are significant.
I don't know.
Prospects.
I haven't heard of any.
Maybe,
I don't think they exist in minor league or certainly Major League Baseball right now.
That's kind of fascinating to me.
Yeah.
I mean, if you were going to say right now, who is somebody that is untouchable, I would say that kid. And he's 22 years old. You look at these other guys, man. I mean, they're 19, 20. Look at Celestin. He's 19 years old.
Yeah, I think Laz is 19 or just turned 20. I mean,
just turned 20.
Yeah, so they're really young, and they're all just, again, they're bottled promise. They're you're looking at the potential, the upside at all times, and they could be this, they could be that. And the bust rate in baseball is just huge,
Right.
regardless of whether they're a top 3 pick or a third-round pick. It just, who knows? Talking about Harry Ford, Keith Law said if another team views Ford as their catcher of the future, you should probably make that trade.
If, however, another team calls and says, shows interest in Ford where they seem to think he's a catcher, I would trade him in a heartbeat because I don't think that's a lock. I think there's a better chance that he's not a catcher than that he is a catcher. And I'm saying that irrespective of Cal Raleigh, just saying, look, this guy's never been really good behind the plate. What everybody likes about Harry Ford is the overall athleticism and the fact that he can really, really command the strike zone.
Yeah, and I'm looking in their system. There's one other guy. I'm just looking at the rankings.
Yeah.
And number 20, Josh Caron, is a catcher. But other than that, I mean, if you have Cal and Garver, I mean, at least for the time being, you're feeling pretty good
for this year. Yeah.
Yeah.
Garver's a free agent after this year.
Yeah.
And I would imagine that will be the end of his tenure with the Mariners.
Yeah. So, I mean, would you wait for that, you think? But then, eventually you're going to want Harry Ford to catch.
Yeah, but he's if he's dead set on I'm a catcher and that's it, and the Mariners feel like he's a catcher. I know Keith Law doesn't seem to buy that, but how does he fit here then?
Yeah.
Because you just signed Cal to a long-term deal. You're not sitting him down. Yeah, as years go on, he's going to need more time off, but still, he's going to be your primary catcher. And it's not like it'd be different if Harry Ford were a defensive wizard and this guy is unbelievable behind the plate. Plus, he's an offensive threat. Then how do we find a way?
Yeah.
I don't think his skills demand that urgency right now. So I just don't know what his path is with this team because of Cal.
Well, and it sounded like, I mean, this is just, we got some signals from Justin Hollander during spring training that, no, not a DH. He's a catcher. And that's what they want.
Who's he catching for then? You're going to call him up and have him catch once a week?
Yeah.
Just sit on the bench?
Well, and he also is, I mean, Cal's not exactly fragile.
No.
I mean, he can handle the workload.
Yeah, how long are you going to let the kid sit? Like we said, Cal's going to, as years go on, he'll need more time off.
Mm-hmm.
But are you going to let this guy sit for years? He's just going to be getting sparse action here and there. Are you going to, I don't know, maybe they try to make him a DH and backup catcher next season. I mean, your DH right now is Polanco. So you're going to sit Polanco for Harry Ford? No, you're not, despite Polanco being pretty cold since the end of April. But
well, I'm curious if anybody else out there has any kind of a attachment, 866-979-3776 text line, because, that Senja kid, I mean, that's just fascinating to me. That, like you said, I mean, he's seemingly one of a kind. But I used to have that same attachment with Harry Ford. Now it just
you hate him.
Yeah, why do I hate him?
I don't know.
No, I just think the situation, the way it played out, and Cal signing long-term deal, I mean, where does he fit? And I'm with you, like, I hope before they trade him, they don't, bring him up, because that would be, he might get exposed a little bit. I don't know, maybe he just rakes, and then you
never know. I mean, and most teams, I think, would look at it and go, okay, he's been up at the big league with the big club for 2 weeks or whatever it may be. I'm not going to base everything on that, but you want him to be as bright and shiny as possible.
Mm-hmm.
And if he's down there just putting up crazy numbers at the AAA level, let the other teams daydream about what he's going to be as a big leaguer. Keith went on to talk about great teams recognize a logjam at certain spots and use that depth to go out and get something that they really need.
The thing that the best teams do is they make the decision between essentially we keep one guy and you trade the other guy. It doesn't have to be one for one necessarily, but you've got to have really good internal evaluations to say, all right, if we're keeping Colt Emerson, we're trading Cole Young, for example. To understand, there's 3 or 4 guys we want to keep because we want to have them contribute. There is a core at the major league level. We want to add to that with our homegrown players. But the second tier or the third tier of prospects within your farm system are all available. And at some point, you need to even be a little bit aggressive in saying, we may really like this guy, but he isn't going to fit for us. We need to trade him to go get something else we need.
Yeah, and it makes sense. They got a lot of, their top prospects are shortstop / second baseman. Cole Young and Felnine Celestine and Colt Emerson. And you've got a number of guys that are in between those two spots. Who's going to be your guy at each? So, I get what he's saying there. And then one more from him, just talking about sometimes teams have a hard time trading their prospects because of the investment they put in on each of them.
Sometimes the hardest thing for any front office to do is just evaluate your own prospects, because they're all like, we just joke as writers, these are my little word babies. I don't want to delete any of them, right? It's kind of the same thing with prospects. You drafted them, you scouted them. How do we let them go? But at some point, you got to make those decisions, even if you really believe the player is going to be good. He just may not fit for you.
What kind of babies again?
Word babies.
Word babies.
That's what writers have. Word babies.
Yeah, I always go back to, what Mike Blauer said, that like they're there to help the team, whether it's trading them or, developing them. So one of the two. And I think I'm much more, I trust much more a veteran than I do a kid coming up. And pretty close to the same in the NFL.
Yeah. All right, coming up, Matt calls it the most American sporting event in less than 24 hours. It's 24 hours away. We'll get you ready for that in Wyman. Coming your way next with Wyman and Bob at Seattle Sports on 710.
If you haven't subscribed to Seattle Sports on YouTube,
it's amazing. We just got to keep hammering it home.
You're missing part of the game.
The rest is history.
There's so much more than what happens on the field.
This is the place I love.
Subscribe now for in-depth inside information with Brock and Salk.
The Mariners' hit rate was way higher than that.
Bump and Stacy.
Cal's like a coach out there.
Wyman and Bob.
One day, breaking that record would be pretty cool.
Stream it live with the local sports leader on YouTube, Seattle Sports.
Free consultations, no-fee guarantees, 5-star reviews. J.P. Pendergast with Pendergast Law explains the importance of going beyond these familiar offerings.
Accident victims want an attorney, Tom, that satisfies their needs. Someone who handles those needs with the highest degree of care. Pendergast Law offers the no-fee guarantees and free consultations, but these only scratch the surface.
Okay, explain more.
We make sure that every member of our team is genuinely passionate about helping others. Customer service and communication are our top priority. It's how we take care of our clients so they always feel one step ahead of the insurance companies. Our strong reputation for high standards provides comfort and confidence when it's needed most.
Pendergast Law offers the free consultations, the no-fee guarantees, and, of course, they are 5-star rated. But what really makes them different is their genuine passion for helping others. I can't recommend them enough.
If you or a loved one has been injured in a car accident, call Pendergast Law. We can help.
That's PendergastLaw.com.
If you need to hire, it seems like the whole process can be exhausting. You search resumes, wait for the right candidates to apply, set up initial interviews. It's a lot of time and work. Well, what if you could meet with qualified candidates for your job the very next day? Now you can with Zip Intro from ZipRecruiter. And right now, you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. Zip Intro is super easy to use. You simply pick a time, and it does all the work of finding and scheduling qualified candidates for you. Then you can choose who you want to talk to and meet with great people on back-to-back video calls as soon as the next day. Best of all, you save time and energy.
Try Zip Intro for free right now at this exclusive web address, ZipRecruiter.com/free. Zip Intro. Post jobs today. Talk to qualified candidates tomorrow. Once again, go to ZipRecruiter.com/free to try it for free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? Hey, that's the spirit. Right now, we're celebrating free with a free STP oil filter when you buy 5 quarts of oil and free Duralast brake pads when you buy 2 rotors. Like always, free battery testing, charging, and recycling at every store. Celebrate free at AutoZone now through July 28th.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
John always listens to his truck. So when his brakes start talking, he goes to AutoZone, where a helpful AutoZoner gets him the right parts. If John has time to put them in, he borrows a kit with Loan-A-Tool. And if he doesn't, he gets a free shop referral. No hassles, just help. Everything you need, nothing you don't.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Deposit required for Loan-A-Tool. Restrictions apply.
Bonneville International radio station contests are open to participants 18 years of age or older that are residents of Washington State unless otherwise specified. Employees or agents of the station, Bonneville International Corporation, other area radio stations, or any entity associated with the contests are not eligible to win unless the station otherwise specifies at its own discretion. Persons who have won in the last 60 days from a station contest or event may not be eligible. Full general contest rules are available on seattlesports.com or in person at the station during regular business hours.
The home of the Mariners.
One hopper snared at short. On a quick hop by J.P. Crawford. That guy's a magician over there at shortstop.
Seattle Sports.
Download the Seattle Sports app.
Well, I'm here with my good buddy, Dr. Dan Nelson from Eastside Pain and Regenerative Medicine. And you've heard from Dr. Dan's patients over the years how a simple stem cell procedure has successfully conquered their pain. Well, folks, now it's my turn. After years of dealing with knee pain from all the football abuse, I can say my knee pain now is almost 100% gone. How'd you do it, Dr. Dan?
Well, Brock, personally, I'm very happy that you did so well. And your story is like so many of our other patients who come in, former athletes and non-athletes as well, who have come in with chronic knee pain, and they are looking for alternatives besides knee replacement surgery. And we're happy to provide this service. It's been truly a game changer for so many folks. It's just been a pleasure to be part of this.
Consider Dr. Nelson, the only doctor with over 30 years of experience in pain medicine techniques, including stem cell therapy. I was in and out with a couple of follow-ups. It's a non-surgical solution to pain using your own stem cells. Consider stem cell therapy with Dr. Daniel Nelson, MD at 425-823-4000 or visit danielnelsonmd.com. That's danielnelsonmd.com.
When might you be buzzed? When you suddenly love everything.
You guys, I love this song. I love these nachos. I love our kickball league. Ugh! I love this guy. What's your name? You know what I love? A ride when it's time to head out.
If you see a buzzed warning sign, call for a ride when it's time to go home. Buzz driving is drunk driving. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
I love your car. Is this real leather?
Here at the Almond Joy Factory, where tropical vibes abound, we use soft, fresh-tasting coconut.
The crunchiest almonds and delicious chocolate candy.
Ah, but do you know what our most important ingredient is? Sometimes you feel like a nut.
Sometimes you don't.
Almond Joy's got nuts and something even way better than that. Yes, Almond Joy is made with almonds and joy.
Why, man? Why?
Lunch has been canceled today due to lack of hustle. Deal with it.
He's a habitual line stepper.
What were you thinking? What are you doing?
Why are you the way that you are?
It's the Why Man of the Week.
It is time for Why Man, which is presented by Mazda of Everett.
Is the Why Man, why does Matt think it's the most American sporting event?
Why does he call it a sporting event?
The article was on ESPN. That stands for E-Sports P Network, Programming Network.
Stands for E-Sports.
I was like, you know what? I'm going to be really impressed if Matt knows.
Oh, my goodness. Yeah, there's a lot of things that happen on an ESPN channel that I would not qualify as sports, like the spelling bee.
Cornhole,
bowling. They're competitions. They're not sports.
Don't come after my bowlers.
They're not sports. They're not athletes.
What's with you and bowling? I remember there's some connection there.
Yeah,
I was on my high school bowling team, and I enjoyed
high school bowling team?
Yeah.
Did they have bowling when you were in high school?
No.
Got my own bowling ball, shoes, towel, everything.
Yikes.
Why do the shoes have to be so ugly?
I don't have a choice in shoes being ugly. They just have to be effective. Because no one who bowls cares about fashion.
Yes. Well, seriously, they could go a long way into making some cool looking shoes rather than the multicolored.
Versions.
Yeah, instead of these multicolored
Brunswick,
stupid loafer looking things.
Isn't it also so people won't steal them?
They're so ugly that nobody will wear them.
I mean, the ones you get at like the bowling alley that you rent, those ones always just look atrocious. You can buy your own, and they can have some decent look to them, but Bob, you can buy your own bowling shoes.
Yes, I could.
And your own bowling ball. Let it rip, Matt. What do you got?
You're just as impressed with Brady's bowling background as you are his baseball background. You want to hear more.
I just hate that I have to spend 4 hours in a windowless room with someone who owns their own bowling ball.
And
That's
it's the highlight
unfair.
of my day being back here with you.
So good. Well, this is all because of the return of Joey Chestnut. He missed the 2024 Nathan's Hot Dog Eating Contest over a sponsorship dispute, so he didn't compete last year. But he's back for the 2025 competition.
Does he have an agent, you think?
Oh, I'm sure he does. Well, and he competes in other things. I mean, this is what he's known for. But we were talking before the show. There's a competitive eating circuit, and often when anybody who's watched this competition, the one that happens in Coney Island every year, the Nathan's Hot Dog, they'll introduce each participant and say, here's Dave Wyman. He's the 2024 bacon eating champion by eating 3 pounds of bacon in 12 minutes or whatever the thing is. And
you're right. It is
random food items.
Yeah, I saw the 16.5 pints of vanilla ice cream at the Indiana State Fair. They called it ice cream short form. That was in 6 minutes. That was a record in 2017.
Yeah.
How about brain freeze? You brought that up.
Yeah, that would be that would hurt. That would hurt. But
so there's a whole circuit.
Yeah, a competitive eating circuit, and it's just different food items, and it's funny to hear when they introduced each participant and they're the champion of something. This guy ate 12 pounds of cow brains or something, some random item like that. So it's he's the asparagus eating champion. Right. Don't stand in the urinal next to him; it'll be no good. But it's just there's a lot of weird things that are.
How about cheese slices? 348. This is the record. 348 slices of cheese in 8 minutes.
You think Lefko would challenge for that? Oh my God! Are they unwrapped?
Much like Lefko, a lot of these guys, it's not like they're these big fat guys.
Yeah, those are the guys that always lose.
Nobody looks like me.
Yeah,
I mean it's a bunch of guys that look like Brady Bones over there.
Yeah, they got capacity.
Where does it go?
I don't know what happens afterwards. I don't know how if they make themselves sick and get rid of it. I know they have to keep it down for a certain period of time.
But what was the number though of hot dogs? Wasn't it like 70?
I think he's up
76?
in the 70s. Yeah,
that's crazy.
Yeah, it's
not good for you.
I don't think there's any part of that that's good for him. But Chestnut was on the Today Show on NBC and talking about his triumphant return to the Nathan's Hot Dog Eating Competition.
Yeah, I'm back at the table, and I'm doing what I love, eating hot dogs on the 4th of July and trying to make records, and this is it's awesome.
Do you feel like you've got, are you back with a bit of a chip on your shoulder this year after last year?
It's, No, I don't hold any grudges. Okay. I'm here. Yeah, like I said, I love this. I love 4th of July. I love the audience. I love dominating my competitors. If somebody else won last year, whoever won last year, he's not going to be the champion for much longer.
He's got more personality. I interviewed Joey Chestnut, I don't know, back when I was at Sporting News Radio.
Yeah.
It's like over 20 years.
What?
Yeah.
How? I have worked with you for how long, and this is the first time that you're telling me that you've interviewed Joey Chestnut?
Yeah, and he was a horrible interview.
This wasn't one of your career highlights, apparently.
No, that's probably why I had never brought it up.
No, it is one of your career highlights.
Matt says it is.
Yeah, it was one of those interviews where you asked a lot of questions because he had very little to say.
Yeah,
I'm like, why are we talking to this guy? He clearly doesn't want to be here, and
he's probably backed up.
Yeah, maybe he wasn't feeling it. He wasn't feeling good. So there you go. He's making his return, and we'll see what that. Will you watch that?
No chance.
You don't know?
No.
I always try to watch it.
No.
Yeah.
Even if somebody put it on, I would just put my hand up. So
I
really?
Couldn't
see, yeah, it's disgusting.
it's pretty amazing.
Yeah, and also,
I'm shocked by that.
I got too many questions. And also too many horror shows running around up in my brain.
Dave wants to know, where does it all go?
I got enough. I don't need any more.
Yeah, all right. Meanwhile, the Mets. I love this. This is just titled, "The Mets Go Out with a Whimper."
Ground ball. Ortiz to his left. 2 down. So the Mets going out with a whimper. And it's really been the case often in these games where they've fallen behind. The at-bats late in games have really sucked.
That's 9 in a row for the Brewers here. Brewer pitchers.
And 17 of the last 18.
The broadcast team is fired up there. And that's 2 down, and the Mets going out with a whimper. You got the music of the stadium blaring in the background. They're just like, get us the hell out of here.
It kind of sound like they've given up. They're 49-38, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
I guess that game was a breaking point for them.
Yeah.
So
they snapped.
But yeah, if it had the team's broadcast team that is employed by said team out there dogging them like that.
Well, if you would have said, that was the Rockies broadcast team, I would have bought it.
Yeah, but the Mets, see, it's a tougher market out there. You get into Philly, you get into New York.
Good point.
Just a different world. All right, coming up, what trade deadline moves should we expect to see from this Mariners team? We're going to ask Adam Jude about that of the Seattle Times. He's going to join us next with Wyman and Bob at Seattle Sports on 710.
Independence Day, when we celebrate this great nation of ours and the many reasons we're grateful to call ourselves Americans. Freedom, liberty, time spent with friends and loved ones, and way too many burgers, dogs, and cold ones to keep count of. Wishing you a safe and happy 4th of July from Seattle Sports on 710, the Seattle Sports app, and seattlesports.com.
Need a new roof now? With State Roofing and Exteriors, you can get started with 0 down, 0 payments, and 0 interest for up to 24 months. That's right. Protect your home now and pay later. Call 866-ROOF-ROOF or visit stateroofing.com today.
Do you have a car you'd like to sell but don't want to go through all the hassle? With all the scams and security risks out there, more and more people are uncomfortable selling their own car. So how do you get the most money for your used car without selling it yourself? Stacy here with the answer. Wayscar Ford in Auburn. Not only will they purchase your car and pay you right up front for it, but it gets way better. Once they resell your old car, they share half the profit with you. The question I get most from my friends and colleagues is, what's the catch? And how can they offer this? It's super simple. All the money they save by not traveling to buy cars at auctions, like purchase fees, shipping, and travel expenses, is what allows them to offer this. They'd rather share that money they save with you than outside vendors. They encourage you to shop around, but if Wayscar Ford can pay you the same or more as their competitors and then share half their profit with you once they resell your car, why would you sell your car anywhere else? They've already shared over $800,000 with customers, and it's only at Wayscar Ford. That's wayscarford.com, Wayscar Ford in Auburn.
Guys, did you know your testosterone affects everything in your system, including how you feel and perform every day? Right now, Revive Men's Health Seattle will check your testosterone for free. Knowing your T levels is the first step in understanding if you have low T. Your testosterone level impacts your energy, libido, sleep, weight, hair loss, mood, and even ED. Maintaining an appropriate T level can change your whole life. Most men start to see changes in their hormone levels in their 30s. Experience and results matter. So what are you waiting for? Get your T levels checked today by local, experienced, and trusted men's health experts. They've helped thousands of men since 2011. They're so confident they can help you, they even guarantee it. Call Revive today and schedule your free testosterone test, free exam, and free consultation. Call Revive Men's Health at 206-529-1111. That's 206-529-1111. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
Get ready to rock with Bret Michaels at Emerald Queen Casino Event Center, Thursday night, July 10th. Rock and roll rebel Bret Michaels. Tickets at emeraldqueen.com. Bret Michaels rocks your world July 10th at Emerald Queen Casino, the entertainment capital of the Northwest. 21 and older. Need gambling help? Call 800-547-6133 or visit emeraldqueen.com.
Citizens, since we each upgraded to Xfinity in our homes, the Wi-Fi has been booming. It's fair to say our town has officially become a boomtown.
Mayor, will I be able to drop into multiplayer gaming battles with low lag?
The lag won't be an issue, but your questionable skills may be.
And what if I have hundreds of devices on the Wi-Fi? Purely hypothetical.
Seems like a lot, but sure, hundreds of devices all booming together with the Xfinity Gateway. Yes, friends and neighbors, with Xfinity, the Wi-Fi is booming.
The Wi-Fi isn't the only thing that's booming. Now get the most reliable Wi-Fi and our best-in-class equipment for one consistent price for 5 years guaranteed. All in. Plus, get unlimited data included and no annual contract. All with the 5-year price guarantee from Xfinity. Visit Xfinity.com, call 1-800-XFINITY, or visit a store today. Restrictions apply. Not available in all areas. New residential customers only. Select plans only. Xfinity Gateway with XFi Complete required for unlimited data except in certain areas. Most reliable Wi-Fi based on Open Signal Awards USA. Fixed Broadband Experience Report, August 2024. Actual speeds vary.
With Progressive, you can reach customer service in the way that's easiest for you, by phone, app, or online. We know it would be great if we just magically appeared, but that's more of a genie thing, and we do insurance. But with us, you'd be like, well, it wasn't a genie, but it was great customer service, so that's nice. And sure, you probably would still like the whole 3 wishes thing, so if you meet a genie, you should definitely ask. But when you need us, contact Progressive by phone, app, or online. Just no genies. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
Staples presents That Was Easy.
So, I was taking my side hustle full-time.
Bold move, my friend.
And I needed to find everything in one stop.
Like finding Bigfoot riding a unicorn.
Yes, so I hit the Staples Easy button. Staples had everything for a new office and print services for signs and brochures. Plus, Cindy, the Staples associate, helped me find the best tech for me.
Wait, no drama?
No, Staples made it easy.
For the products, services, and experts your business needs. Staples.
That was easy.
In-store, online, and on the app.
When it comes to the security of your business, doubts can creep in about who you're trusting to protect it. At Bail Arm, we got you. For nearly 80 years, we've been putting our customers' minds at ease with our advanced technology and personalized support. Feeling insecure about your current security service? Visit bailarm.com today.
The countdown is on.
20 days until Seahawks training camp.
On the home of the Seahawks, Seattle Sports. 710 KIRO AM Seattle and KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Seattle Sports Snapshot.
Mariners looking to win the series against the Kansas City Royals tonight when they send Logan Evans to the hill. He's been called up. He'll get the start tonight in Game 4 against the Kansas City Royals. You can catch all the action of that beginning at 6 o'clock with the pregame show. A little later start. 7:10 first pitch right here, Seattle Sports on 7:10. Other finals from the day, the Marlins beat the Twins 4-1. It was the Rockies taking out the Astros, doing the Mariners a bit of a favor, 7-6. Right now, game's going on. Tigers out to a 3-0 lead early on the Nationals. They head to the bottom of the first in that one. They're in a rain delay in New York between the Mets and Brewers. No score there in the top of the first.
Snapshot brought to you by Miller Lite. When it's game time, it's Miller time.
This hour is serviced by the Lee Johnson Auto family.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, this is Wyman and Bob.
On Seattle Sports.
Streaming live on the Seattle Sports app and at seattlesports.com.
Now, here are your hosts, Dave Wyman and Bob Stelton.
We are rapidly approaching that trade deadline. We're all sitting here waiting, watching. All right, what are the Mariners going to do? Well, a guy who has a sense of what they may or may not do, he's written stories about it in the Seattle Times, does a great job covering this Mariners team. He's with us on the Emerald Queen Casino Sportsbook Hotline. Our buddy Adam Jude is here of the Seattle Times. Adam, how are you, man?
I'm doing great. Afternoon, fellas. Thanks for having me. How are you guys?
We're good. It's good to talk to you. And it's how do you feel about this? Are you counting down the days, going, okay, it's X amount of days till the trade deadline, and wondering when that first move may take place?
You know, there's been so much going on, specifically with Cal, and I was just watching Julio on SportsCenter. SportsCenter's doing this 50 states in 50 days, and today was Washington. So they had a live interview with Julio, and they're doing the top 10 highlights in state history, and Cal's walk-off in 2022 was up there too. And you got the Edgar walk-off to score Griffey in 95. And obviously all that Cal's doing right now. So it just feels like there's so much going on with this team, trying to kind of hang on in the AL West here, that I've only sort of kind of half-heartedly taken a look at the trade deadline. Obviously I wrote that story earlier this week, doing a little bit of a deeper dive, but it just feels like in some ways we're still so far away from that. And then with what Cal's doing and the All-Star break and the home run derby, it does feel like there's a lot going on. And we got Paul Skeens I just saw pitching this weekend here. So a lot of baseball activity, a lot of good stuff going on.
Hey, what's your take, Adam, on how Cal has handled this? I feel like just beautifully, or as he said, gracefully. And you saw him on Pat McAfee. I mean, it just seems like he's all in, man, and he's just a regular guy, and I don't ever worry about him, I guess, just because he's such a solid character.
Yeah, I think that's totally fair read on the situation. I've been talking to teammates and coaches and reaching out to his dad as well. I'm working on something for next week before the All-Star game and the home run derby with him. And it does feel like that with Cal Raleigh. Like, he grew up with his dad around the game, right? His dad was a major college coach, and it's just, he was the kid born with a mini bat in his crib, right? I mean, he was a switch hitter from the time he could kind of blink, right? And he was just sort of made for this, and none of it really seems to faze him. And it really struck me yesterday. We weren't in the room, but I heard right away, from teammates and coaches right after they had a little mini celebration for him in the clubhouse, getting announced as the All-Star starter. He gave a brief speech, and the first thing he did was apologize. Like, sorry, guys, I know everyone's making a big fuss. I know my face has been everywhere, all this press and publicity and stuff. And he genuinely, I think, felt a little bad, a little sheepish about all the attention he's getting, because that's just not his nature, right? He wants it to be about the team. He wants to win more than anything. And again, you hear guys say that all the time, and you want guys to feel that way, but I think it's 100% genuine when we're talking about Cal Raleigh. So I think he's got a good perspective on it. I do think it's a natural concern from anyone around him or anyone maybe watching him, like, how is he handling all this pressure, this attention, so much on him in such a short period of time here. But again, it's not like it's his first year in the big leagues and this is all happening all of a sudden. He's sort of been building up to this. He's 28 years old. He's always been a mature guy, and I think it's kind of hitting at the right time for him that people around the country are finally figuring out, what the rest of us in Seattle have seen for a couple of years now, that this guy is really, really, really good.
Yeah, it couldn't happen to a better guy, and he's earned every bit of the praise and attention he's getting. By the way, I was looking at the schedule here on ESPN. They've got Skeens going Monday against the Royals. They don't have him. Did they shift it?
Just came out. Yeah, the Pirates just came out with their probables for the weekend. That was, initially, I saw Skeens was Monday too, and I think they just changed it, so it's supposed to be now Paul Skeens versus George Kirby Sunday. For that series finale. So nice. A pretty nice matchup there. Yep.
Yeah, nice from a baseball fan perspective. As a Mariner fan, I don't think I like that so much.
Not if you're a Mariners hitter. Yeah, not if you're a Mariners hitter, that's for sure.
Well, what's your read on this team as far as needs? We've had this conversation with Ryan Roland Smith, and his priority is a bullpen arm. And I also think they could use help in the bullpen, but it's not the priority by any stretch. I keep bringing this up. You've got an infield that has no production outside of Cal. And that's not a knock on Ben Williamson, who's been brilliant at third base, and Cole Young's done a nice job, and JP, everybody. But, some spots you're not expecting production, but your two spots, your corner spots, you're not getting anything from third, or you got one home run at a third base. You can't have it. You need production out of the first and third at least, and you're not getting it from either. So do you see them addressing those two spots? Do you think they just get a bat regardless of what position they play? How do you see them approaching this?
Yeah, all of the above, Bob. I think the Mariners are certainly open, and I think when you look at the way that they've constructed their roster, in recent history, and this just goes with a lot of modern baseball strategy, right? You want flexibility in your roster, and that's what the Mariners have tried to do. So look, if they can go out and acquire a slugging first baseman, like, they can obviously make that fit right now. And you can move Luke Raley a little more regularly out to right field or DH. You can make that work. If a veteran third baseman becomes available, say a guy that used to play in Houston for a long time, if he suddenly becomes available, you can make that work as well. Ben Williamson, to your point, I think has been about as good as anyone could have reasonably hoped. He really did get rushed to the majors in mid-April after only 2 weeks in AAA. He's only played at best a year and a half in the minor leagues, and he's held his own. He's been treading water. But to your point, you would love a third baseman that can slug a little bit more, and of course, you would like a guy that can hit the ball in the ballpark a little more consistently. Not to say Ben Williams can't eventually become that guy, but if the Mariners see themselves as a legitimate playoff team and a playoff contender, and perhaps they hope a World Series contender, you need something more, exactly as you said, Bob, from those two corner infield positions. And I know that's something that they're looking at. They've started some early preliminary conversations with teams around the league. The problem here early July is there aren't very many teams that are truly out of playoff contention at this point. And again, the Arizona Diamondbacks, to me, are the team everyone's kind of looking at and waiting for. They lost their best pitcher. They've lost their two best relievers. Corbin Carroll, the Seattle native, who got off to a terrific start this season, is on the IL right now. So I think everyone's waiting to see if the Diamondbacks will eventually kind of falter and decide to sell a little bit, because they've got some attractive pieces, both at first base and third base, and Gino Suarez, a guy obviously we're really familiar with here in Seattle. Yeah. And they've got some nice bullpen pieces too. So it just lines up in a lot of ways for the Mariners and for other teams too. But certainly those two corner infield spots, I would suspect the Mariners are going to do everything they can to try to add there before July 31st.
Hey, Adam, from talking to Justin Hollander and Jerry DiPoto and just hearing what they have to say, what have you been able to glean from their conversations and their approach to prospects? You know, as far as, you know, is there some attachment there? I can imagine, you know, you draft these guys, you've been looking at them for a long time, and now you're going to trade them away. Are they looking at it like, hey, this is something that, you know, they're here for, to possibly trade away and for somebody else's future, or we really want to develop these guys one way or the other? Have you been able to tell?
Yeah, I would say one way to sort of articulate that, and a lot of teams will tell you this, but I feel like the Mariners have taken this stance for a while now that no one is untouchable, right? There's guys that they, of course, love. They've done a really good job of drafting and developing, and there's a reason they have 9 guys right now ranked in baseball's top 100 prospects list across the board. And that goes especially true for some of the young high school bats that they've drafted over the last handful of years. And Harry Ford is knocking at the door right now in AAA, one of the best catching prospects in baseball. And by all accounts, a great kid, a great catcher behind the plate, a great hitter with a really interesting hitting profile too. He's got a lot of athleticism, some speed, like really talented on base skills. There's so much he can do, and yet we know Cal Raleigh's right here, and there's no immediate path to playing time or at bats for Harry Ford in Seattle. So of course they have to be open to the idea of potentially trading Harry Ford if there's another team that values him. At the same time, you know, in the right deal, if there's an established slugger, established big leaguer that you know, might cost you a Laz Montez, I think the Mariners have to be open to that as well. Again, it doesn't do you any good to hoard all these top prospects if A, you don't have a path to them, and B, you know they're not all going to develop and become major league regulars either. So there's a balance there, of course. The Mariners do take a lot of pride in their draft and develop process. That's just kind of what they've become. That's big part of their DNA as an organization, and they have done a good job with that. But at the same time, Jerry DiPoto and Justin Hollander have proven they're not afraid to swap some of those guys for proven major league talent. We saw it in Luis Castillo deal. They traded their top prospect at the time, Noelvi Marte. We saw it in Randy Arozarena last year. They traded 3 prospects, and one of those pitchers is now in the futures game too, Brody Hopkins. He's really developed in Tampa. So you got to give up something to get something, and of course, you know, everyone loves the prospects, and just like, you know, in college football, everyone loves the 4- and 5-star recruits that are coming up, but you have to kind of balance that with what you need now and what's going to help you right now. And I do think the Mariners, given the strength of their farm system, would be willing to give up a prospect or 2 or 3 to swing the right deal this summer.
Adam, do you get a sense that the urgency is any different than in seasons past, in that you've got this rotation, which obviously hasn't been close to what they were last year based on injury? I mean, everybody's taking turns getting hurt outside of Castillo and Wu, and Miller still isn't there. But when they're healthy, we know what they're capable of, being the best rotation in baseball, or certainly amongst the best. But they're not going to be able to re-sign the 4 young guys. I think that's the reality we all know is coming, that hopefully they can keep 2 of them. We'll see what happens. But do you get the sense that while they've got them, let's capitalize on this window right now? They're cheap by baseball standards. They're effective, and we're not going to have all 4 of them together for that long. So is there more urgency at all that you sense based on that, or how do you view them approaching this trade deadline versus years past?
Yeah, it's a great question, and you would hope, obviously, there's always a sense of urgency, and with the window as wide open as it is right now, or it should be for for this team and this roster and the personnel that they have, you would think it would be heightened a little bit. Again, they do need their pitching to kind of rebound here in the second half a little bit. Obviously, the injuries are the biggest reason for that. But if they can get Logan Gilbert and George Kirby in particular to kind of inch closer to what they've been the past couple of years, I think we're going to see that this team is going to have a chance to really make a push here in the second half. They've been a second half team the last few years. Obviously, Julio's been a big part of that. He just consistently heats up in the summertime, and obviously they're hoping they get something like that again. But to me, I circle back to Logan and George in particular. And again, I think the Mariners front office is acutely aware of that. The window is open right now, and then you add on top of it the historic season that Cal Raleigh is having, and you certainly don't want to waste that. Last year they had a pretty historic season from their starting rotation, and at the end of the day, it amounted to nothing. They didn't get in the playoffs. They fell one game short once again, and I don't think they want to be in that position again. They certainly don't want to be in that position again. So if the opportunity presents itself, and there's no guarantees that it will here ahead of the trade deadline, because when you're a draft, develop, and trade organization like the Mariners are, you're reliant on other teams to make quality major leaguers available to you, and there's no guarantee that there's going to be that impact bat available come July 31st. But the Mariners have positioned themselves to swing a big deal if the right person does become available, because they have the prospects to do it, and they've got some assurances from ownership that they're willing to increase payroll a little bit here too to facilitate that.
Adam, anybody that you're watching right now that you think could break out in the second half, whether it's like a guy like Canzone or Luke Raley, or maybe Williamson starts, hitting some power numbers there. Who looks like they're poised for a breakout?
Yeah, I think Raley's probably a good pick there. Obviously, he was on the injury list for 6-7 weeks with a serious oblique injury, and you think about what he was like in the second half last year. T-Mobile Park did not faze him. 22 homers. I think he had OPS plus of 129 last year. And again, that's his first year hitting in Seattle, notoriously difficult park. So if they can get something consistently out of him, and then what we've seen from Randy Arozarena this week, obviously he's a guy, if he's going to be hitting cleanup consistently behind Cal Raleigh, he's going to have a chance to do a lot of damage. And we've seen what he's capable of. And he had a slow start last year in Tampa before coming over to Seattle. And he took off. I think he was a really good player. I know he was a really good player once he came over after the trade last year, too. It does feel like he's really kind of settled in. Seems like he's content, happy in Seattle. And so I look for him to be a guy here as the weather heats up. I'd expect Randy Arozarena's bat to continue to get up as well.
Adam Jude of the Seattle Times is our guest here with Wyman and Bob, Seattle Sports on 710. And you mentioned you wrote about some of the trade possibilities a little while ago, and one of those names was Alex Bregman, currently hurt. And I'm curious what the reality of that. I know that it was been brought up by others, but I'm looking at a guy who's signed to a 3-year deal. I know he can opt out after this year, but I also look at him being hurt, and if he comes back in the second half and he's just not the same, and that market doesn't develop for his services, that he's going to go, yeah, I'll go ahead and live with $40 million a year for the next 2 years and not opt out. And with that possibility existing, this Mariners ownership group, that doesn't feel like that would sit well with them. But I'm curious what you think the reality of a Bregman deal would actually be.
Yeah, it's complicated. There are a lot of layers to it, and there's a reason I probably didn't get to Bregman's name until about 900 words into my story too. It's not likely. It's not likely. That was the one that wound up getting the most attention because it's probably the sexiest name I listed there too. But obviously, a lot would have to turn in the Mariners' favor for something like that to even start the conversation. That said, the Red Sox have already traded away Rafael Devers. They've got an incredible young core of 3 sluggers that they're going to build around. If things don't start to turn around for them in the next 3 weeks, maybe they pick their head up a few days before the trade deadline and go, you know what, this isn't our year. What can we get for some of our, veteran assets here? And maybe the Mariners are one of the teams that makes them an offer they can't refuse, right? Because, again, the Mariners have the prospects to do something like that. The reaction I've gotten the most and heard the most over the last couple of days is, wait a minute, Bregman was just a free agent 6 months ago, and the Mariners didn't show any interest why all of a sudden would they give up prospects and pay him now? Well, the dynamics have changed pretty dramatically at this point. It would have cost the Mariners upwards of $160, $180 million to convince Alex Bregman to come here. Now it's only $12 or $13 million for, yes, just 2 months of work, but the calculus and the paycheck has changed considerably. And to your point, Bob, yes, he has $80 million remaining on his contract the next couple years, but I think the industry expectation is he'll opt out after this year. So the dynamics have changed a lot. Again, I don't know how exactly to couch it or put the odds on that one, but they are very, very low. But I think it's worth discussing just because he's such a perfect fit for what the Mariners actually need. And there is an outside chance that maybe the Red Sox, fall out of it and decide, what, let's recoup, maybe a decent prospect for an asset that we have and move on to next year.
Hey, we had Charlie Furbush in here, Adam, and he was going on and on about Matt Brash, and I guess the thing that's fascinating to me is how he can tie up hitters, professionals. I mean, good players, and he has people swinging at things that they don't. I don't know. It just seems like he leads the league in confused batters, as far as And are you seeing that that he is really, and because coming off the injury is a big question mark, but it just it looks like everything's good for him. He didn't have the greatest outing the other day, give up an earned run, or yesterday, but yeah. What are you seeing from him? Is there something really special there with him?
Yeah, the Mariners are really, really, really lucky in so many ways to have Matt Brash. It's like he didn't miss a beat. He's been gone for an entire season plus, and here he comes back, and just after 20 appearances, finally allows his first run. It looked like for a while there, like maybe they had turned him into a robot or something, a cyborg, just untouchable. And that just goes to your point. Like, how do you explain what he's doing? I mean, I don't know. You can't. I asked him a couple of weeks ago, I think we all remember, 2 years ago might have been the very first series of the 2023 season. He had his breakout, but he made one of the best hitters in baseball, Jose Ramirez from Cleveland, just look silly, like a little league hitter. Like he was pitching to me up there, basically buried him in the ground, swinging out of his shoes and spun around like a top. And it was just like, that's literally one of the best hitters in baseball. Yeah. And how do you do that? And Matt was like, yeah, I don't think I'll ever throw a pitch like that again. But I'm like, dude, you're throwing it almost every night. Like he's just making all these guys just look foolish. And again, his ability to kind of not only set the table for Munoz in the eighth inning, but really to come in almost any spot and just get the job done. Like Dan Wilson has to feel so confident with what he's getting from the back end of the bullpen right now. And yes, the Mariners would love to get another kind of proven veteran to help out back there. But, I was looking at some of the metrics today. I mean, they're a top 10 bullpen in baseball right now. No one ever has enough, hard-throwing, high-end relievers. But I think the Mariners are in pretty good shape right now, especially considering how many extra inning games they played recently and the workload they're not getting from their starting rotation right now, too. So I think that back end of that bullpen has proven a lot, and I think it's become a real strength for these guys.
Hey, Adam, real quick before we let you go, just give me a thought on Julio and the season he's had so far. We've got listeners that feel like we're too hard on him, that, questioning what he's doing, and we're picking on him. It's about the expectations he's created over his career. He's shown he can be one of the elite players in all of baseball. We're waiting for that this year. He's had stretches, but it just feels like, man, he feels a little off at the plate. He's out in front of the off speed. He's behind on fastballs. He's beating the ball into the ground. What's your take on what you've seen from him this year?
Yeah, it's a really interesting profile, too, just because, again, he's as talented as anyone on the planet. He's so athletic, can swing so hard, and hit the ball so far. But, yeah, I think the biggest issue, as you just said, Bob, I mean, he's just hitting into the ground. It just feels like, he wants to jump on that first pitch if it's there, and there are times where he's convinced it's just going to be a fastball right down the middle, and it's a slider on the edge of the plate, and he's just hammering it, but right to the shortstop, a two-hopper to the shortstop all the time. So, the good news is like that adjustment, that tweak, it's not a major overhaul, right? And obviously when you have someone like Edgar Martinez and Kevin Seitz as a new hitting coach coming in, they're really smart. They're really good at what they do. I know Julio really respects Edgar and really appreciated kind of connecting with him and building a relationship with him in the second half last season, and that's continued. So it feels like it's close. It has felt like it's close for a while now, and, we're certainly still waiting on it. And, Jerry DiPoto said it recently in an interview too. It does feel like in some ways Julio's still trying to kind of find himself and find his identity as a major league hitter, because again, he wants to be the 40 homer guy, wants to be the 40-40 guy that is the face of baseball. And he does have that talent. And because he's so good in center field, he's still so valuable. And he's running the bases well. He does so many things that help you win ball games. But again, if you're batting in front of Cal Raleigh, you want him to get on base a little more consistently. You want him to hit the ball in the air a little more consistently. You want him to be a little more patient consistently. And it's just not all quite there. But again, I think the good news for Mariner fans is it's not a huge tweak. He's not far off. And we've seen some good signs recently. And it does feel like, that July, August surge that we're so used to seeing from Julio is perhaps just right around the corner again.
Hoping so. Adam Jude of the Seattle Times. Great stuff, man. As always, we really appreciate you taking out time. Happy 4th of July to you, and enjoy your weekend, and hopefully we're talking soon.
Sounds good. Same to you guys. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Adam.
There again, Adam Jude of the Seattle Times. If you guys missed any part of that, you'll be able to find it on the podcast page after the show at seattlesports.com. Just click the podcast tab. Scroll down to our picture, click on that, and it'll be right there waiting for you, as it is each and every night. And don't forget, you can click subscribe, totally free, and it just shows up for you every single day. Meanwhile, do the Seahawks have any truly untouchable players on that roster that you wouldn't even consider trading? We'll talk about that next with Wyman and Bob. It's Seattle Sports on 710.
ESPN senior MLB insider Jeff Passan with Brock and Salk.
I'm leaning a little bit more into that Bregman train.
I think there's a question of could versus should versus would. Could they? Sure. Should they? Absolutely. Would they? We get back to the same question that we do every offseason. Would the Mariners go out and spend real money on a guy? Up to this point, they have not shown a willingness to do that.
Get more on the Seattle Sports YouTube page and the Seattle Sports app.
Thousands of items at the Putz Golf Sidewalk Sale. Too many clubs, too little time. Wedges from $99.99. Iron sets from $399.99. Putters starting at $79.99. But hurry, it ends on Sunday.
I'm attorney Rob Iddens, owner of Warrior Injury Law. We helped Ed, who suffered a neck injury in a highway pileup.
They've gone above and beyond. I would definitely choose these guys again any time of the week.
If you've been injured, call us at 253-WARRIOR. Warrior Injury Law. Battle tested.
Hey, it's Bob Stelton here. I want to tell you about one of the best decisions I've ever made in my life, and that's when I went to K2 Vision for RLE. That's Refractive Lens Exchange. Now, if you're somebody like me who had a pair of readers in every room of your home, in your car, you needed them when you were in a restaurant reading menus, reading the receipts, then this is for you. Or if you're somebody that struggles with distance vision, either way, K2 Vision RLE could be your perfect and, more importantly, your permanent solution, and you'll never develop a cataract. That's a little icing on the cake. K2 Vision RLE is quick, it's painless, and I am seeing great now without readers. It is such a game changer, and I'm excited to spend my good active years not needing reading glasses. It's just such a pain, especially if you forget them and you go into a restaurant and you can't read anything. K2 Vision RLE gave me great vision that, more importantly, is permanent, and the doctors at K2 Vision RLE have performed over 150,000 lens procedures, so they know when RLE is right for you. Schedule your free Zoom consultation today, completely free. You can schedule it today. Just head to K2VisionRLE.com. K2VisionRLE, no readers, glasses, contacts, or cataracts. Again, that's K2VisionRLE.com.
Hey, Brock Ewart here for my friends over at Xfinity. You know, change is always happening. It's part of life. And when it comes to music, we know that change is all around us. Songs are rewritten and remade. Classics are remixed. Bands and artists, well, they come and go. Even our taste in music, as we get older, can change a bit. But no matter how things change in 5 years, there's one thing that will stay the same, and that is the price of your internet. That's right. Xfinity is introducing a 5-year price guarantee. It means you get 5 years of the most reliable Wi-Fi with their best equipment included for a price that stays exactly the same. Are you surprised? Well, life is full of them. One internet price, 5 years, guaranteed. Learn more at Xfinity.com/deals. Now, restrictions apply. New residential customers only. Taxes and fees extra and subject to change. Most reliable Wi-Fi based on Open Signal Awards USA. Fixed Broadband Experience Report, August of 2024. Go check it all out right online at Xfinity.com/deals.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
John always listens to his truck. So when his brakes start talking, he goes to AutoZone, where a helpful AutoZoner gets him the right parts. If John has time to put them in, he borrows a kit with Loan-A-Tool. And if he doesn't, he gets a free shop referral. No hassles, just help. Everything you need, nothing you don't.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Deposit required for Loan-A-Tool. Restrictions apply.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
John always listens to his truck. So when his brakes start talking, he goes to AutoZone, where a helpful AutoZoner gets him the right parts. If John has time to put them in, he borrows a kit with Loan-A-Tool. And if he doesn't, he gets a free shop referral. No hassles, just help. Everything you need, nothing you don't.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Deposit required for Loan-A-Tool. Restrictions apply.
20 days until Seahawks training camp. And Seahawks training camp lives on the home of the Seahawks, Seattle Sports.
Endless hours of research, seeking referrals, dozens of calls. Hiring the right attorney can be a challenging process during an already difficult time. JP Pendergast with Pendergast Law explains.
In Washington State, Tom, there are thousands of attorneys to choose from. Referrals and online research can be helpful, but discovering the right attorney requires a conversation. It can be hard to identify integrity and authenticity without that interaction.
So, what do you recommend?
We encourage anyone looking for personal injury representation to call for a free consultation with our team before making a decision simply based on referrals or online research. Accident victims need an attorney that listens, demonstrates honesty, and is genuinely understanding of their unique circumstances. The care, attention, and preparation that our firm provides throughout the case mirrors the effort involved when taking on the insurance companies.
Save time and avoid mistakes after an injury. Contact the caring and compassionate team at Pendergast Law.
If you or a loved one has been injured in a car accident, call Pendergast Law. We can help.
Saving for retirement was tough enough for us.
Yes, and navigating markets can be challenging at times.
I understand. That's why at Fisher Investments, we take a disciplined approach with your investments.
Tell us more about that.
We take an active approach to money management, positioning your portfolio for opportunities we see ahead.
So all your clients get the same portfolio?
No, we tailor your portfolio to your individual goals and needs.
What about communication? We don't like being left in the dark.
We check in regularly to keep you informed on the markets and your portfolio.
Which means you'll help us stay on track.
Yes, our goal is your comfortable retirement. And as a fiduciary, we always put your interests first, because we do better when you do better. At Fisher Investments, we're clearly different. Learn more at FisherInvestments.com.
Investing in securities involves the risk of loss.
This hour is serviced by the Lee Johnson Auto family.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, you're listening to Wyman and Bob.
Weekdays, 2 to 7.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Our thanks to Adam Jude, who joined us in the previous segment. In case you guys are just tuning in and missed that conversation, you'll be able to find it on the podcast page after the show at seattlesports.com. Meanwhile, looking at the Seahawks, and we talked about this briefly, Dave, about the idea of them making a big move and, going after T.J. Watt. There was that story on CBS Sports where they listed 5 potential trade destinations for T.J. Watt. One of them was Seattle, which, that's a writer, putting together pieces going, he'd fit here, he'd fit there. So it doesn't mean there's anything behind it. But what he wrote is Mike McDonald is good for maximizing his defensive talent as a Seahawks head coach. And Seattle added DeMarcus Lawrence this offseason to give the pass rushing core some added depth. But this club could still use a bona fide sack artist. Its defense might go from stingy to spectacular. With a talent like Watt, this landing spot would also enable the Steelers to keep Watt out of the AFC, and the Seahawks are projected to have an excess of salary cap in the coming years thanks to their offseason shuffling. It all makes sense. It still doesn't – I don't know how realistic it is, but in thinking about it, I'm going, okay, let's just hypothetically say, yeah, they want TJ Watt. Who obviously draft picks would be involved, but is there anybody on the roster you look at and say, yeah, I'm not parting with this guy?
Spoon.
Yeah.
JSN, probably. Throw Leonard Williams in there right now, even though he's an older guy.
Mm-hmm.
He just does so much for them. And then I guess Byron Murphy, just because you haven't really seen what he's about. But, yeah.
What if they wanted Maffei and some draft picks, or they wanted, Maffei and another player and some draft picks?
That's a good question, because I really love Boye Mafe. And he's one of those guys that, when we talk about somebody being a good guy, a lot of it is that, can you pay him? If you pay him a ridiculous amount of money, can you trust him? And he's one of those guys. He's one of those guys he's going to be the same person that he was. And so that's part of it as well. But I got to say, man, TJ Watt, I was thinking about him when you sent this link. We played there in 2019, and I remember Chris Carson was running the ball. It was like towards the booth where me and Rabes are calling the game, and you could see just like a fist size amount of the football showing.
Mm-hmm.
And so Chris Carson didn't do anything wrong, but TJ Watt comes in there, tackles him, and punches like right on that spot.
Mm-hmm.
And there are very few guys that can slow the game down the way that he does. And, and I think about some of the best plays that I made in the NFL, I could slow the game down in those plays, but didn't happen very often. No, I mean, look, that's how you become an all-pro and become a guy who gets, double-digit sacks and beyond. So, I mean, I just think he's such a good player. But I don't think I would trade any of those guys that I just mentioned.
Yeah, I wouldn't trade. Spoon was the one guy that immediately came to mind.
Yeah.
I still feel like he is the best overall player on the team.
Yeah.
Now, maybe somebody else may assume that role. And
he's better at his job than anybody else is at theirs.
I just think he's dynamic. I think he impacts the game in just a multiple different ways. Yeah, I mean, there's certainly guys I wouldn't want to get rid of JSN. I wouldn't want to get rid of Charles Cross. I mean, there's certain pieces, and I don't even know if that's what I was just going through a hypothetical, like, all right, if they want draft picks and somebody off the roster, is there somebody you look at and go, no, you're not getting that guy?
No, it's a good question.
But I thought maybe all right, we're giving up a pass rusher, so we want somebody in return, who obviously they're not going to be TJ Watt, but Mafe is the guy that came to mind. Like, all right, what if they want Mafe and draft compensation?
Yeah.
So I would love the idea of it's kind of exciting to have somebody who's got that track record, but he's 30. He is a guy that, in football years, that you're not in your prime at that point as a pass rusher. I don't know what's led to his numbers being what they are each year. I mean, I was joking with Moyer when we talked to him, saying, well, he had a down year. He had 11.5 sacks because he had 19 the year before.
Right.
Why the disparity? I don't know. He still had 6 forced fumbles last year, too.
Yeah.
So he's a problem still. Is he going to be the guy that gives you 22.5 sacks like he did? What was it, 2019, I think, is when he did that? I don't know about that, but still, to have that element on your roster would be pretty enticing. But to what extent do the Seahawks really go in on a deal like that? I don't know, because I guess it'd be different if he were like a premier O-lineman, because that feels like more of a pressing need as opposed to a pass rusher.
Yeah, this would be like a luxury, and I don't think that they're at the point where they're gonna do that. I mean, I don't know. I wonder what the reason was for throwing the Seahawks in there, because there's lots of teams that could use a TJ Watt, but yeah, and they kind of have, you just got DeMarcus Lawrence, and he plays inside as well, so it's not exactly in that same category. But you got Boye Mafe, you got Derek Hall, who has, I think his upside is, I can kind of see the ceiling. I mean, he's incredibly strong and powerful, but I just think Mafe is more. He can do both. He can bull rush you. He can put a move on you. I'm not sure if Derek Hall has that kind of ability. I mean, he's I don't want to say stiff, but like he's a great player, no question. It's just that he's much more a power guy, and then you got Uchenna as well. So I mean, it just seems like you got 3 to play 2 there. DeMarcus Lawrence can sometimes play out there, so I don't see the pressing need there. But I think the good question is who is untouchable, and I for me it's Spoon, JSN, and
Williams,
big Leonard Williams.
Yeah, I did
throw Cross in there.
Yeah, just because you don't have an option beyond him that I think is reasonable as a left tackle, and that's such a crucial position. I mean, you're protecting your quarterback's blind side. So, yeah, outside of that, there's certainly guys you wouldn't want to get. I wouldn't want to get rid of Ernest Jones. Is he untouchable? No.
Yeah.
But it would take a lot for me to say, okay, you can take him.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there are certainly guys I wouldn't want to get rid of, and there's some I would just be like, absolutely not. Absolutely not. All right, coming up, could we see Ronald Acuna Jr. coming to Seattle? We're going to hear what MLB analyst said about that when we sweep the dial. Coming up with Wyman and Bob at Seattle Sports on 710.
We've got some breaking news.
And the next offer on the way to Cal, swinging a drive, deep to right field.
Big Dumper is in the Derby.
Goodbye, baseball.
You're going to get tossed some meatballs and stuff. All you got to do is connect. You have enough power. You got a big dumper. That ball is going to travel.
What would happen if you switched Cal and Judge? Like, what if Cal was doing this for the Yankees and Judge was doing this for the Mariners? Who's the MVP then?
Hear Cal Raleigh in the Home Run Derby Monday, July 14th, right here on Seattle Sports.
Did you know in Washington State, you can see a physical therapist without a referral from your doctor? That's right. Thanks to Direct Access, you can skip the wait and get the care you need right away. Shannon O'Kelly, how has Direct Access changed the game?
Direct Access for us, Brock, is a game changer. Why? Is because there is so much research and data out there that says if you get in early when you have a musculoskeletal problem or an injury, the earlier you get in and we can start care, the better outcomes and the decreased downstream cost, okay? So it's so important. Our providers are all doctors of physical therapy. They're all trained to identify situations and problems. They've got the skill, they've got the talent, they've got the knowledge. If you get in and start therapy early, we're going to get you back to activity, pain-free, and moving and having fun.
Fast, easy, effective. Direct Access is your path to better movement, starting with a single step. Visit irgpt.com to schedule your appointment today. irgpt.com.
Need a new roof, a deck, siding, windows? Get up to $3,000 off any new installation. Hi, it's Justin Shirley, CEO of State Roofing and Exteriors. Home projects can add up fast, but we're here to help you save big. Book now and lock in up to $3,000 off in savings. That's $3,000 off any new installation. Call 866-ROOF-ROOF or visit stateroofing.com to schedule your free estimate today. State Roofing and Exteriors, held to a higher standard since 1968.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
John always listens to his truck. So when his brakes start talking, he goes to AutoZone, where a helpful AutoZoner gets him the right parts. If John has time to put them in, he borrows a kit with Loan-A-Tool. And if he doesn't, he gets a free shop referral. No hassles, just help. Everything you need, nothing you don't.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Deposit required for Loan-A-Tool. Restrictions apply.
Hey, Green Gobbler here. So you've got a clogged drain in your bathroom. Water in the sink's overstaying its welcome. You're spitting today's toothpaste on top of yesterday's toothpaste. You hope that it'd go away. Yeah, clogs don't just go away. I make them go away. I'm Green Gobbler, the only clog dissolver you need. I'm bleach-free, safe for your pipes, and I work. Guaranteed or your money back. Because I never met a clog that was gonna unclog itself. Green Gobbler. Let the gobbler get it.
Tired of sitting on your suitcase? 2 words. Packing cubes. Sometimes a different way is the better way. Like the SR 509 Expressway, an alternate route that'll help manage congestion on I-5 and other local roads. Now open and free through summer.
What is that sound? Ugh, that sounds like a plumbing sound. Luckily, there's a company that fixes all the plumbing sounds across Puget Sound. That's All Sound Plumbing. Puget Sound's plumbing experts. Have a sound? Visit allsoundplumbing.com.
It's the Graz here for my friends at Premier Golf. Take advantage of early sunrise and late sunset at the 11 different Premier courses today. From Bellingham, Everett, and Marysville to Linwood, Bellevue, and Seattle, even out on the coast, they've got a course near you. Play Inner Bay or Jackson, Bill Wright or West Seattle, Bellevue, Legion Memorial, Walter Hall, Linwood, Cedar Crest, Lake Patton, and even Ocean Shores. Courses are in great shape and ready for your next round. Visit PremierGolfCenters.com, that's PremierGolfCenters.com, and book your tee time today.
the home of the Mariners.
It is gone! Cal Raleigh, 2-run home run.
Hear every pitch on 710 and the Seattle Sports app.
There's a sink at the brink and a drain that's a pain.
Dayandnight.net.
The old throne's not too well, and ooh, does it smell?
Dayandnight.net.
Slow drains, backed up toilet, is your main drain or sewer clogged? Hi, I'm Bruce, General Manager of Day and Night Plumbing and Heating. Over the past 70 years, I think we've seen every drain clog out there. If your pipes aren't draining from a small fix to a major repair, our sewer and camera inspection will show exactly where the problem is. I promise you, our experienced technicians will find the issue, the right solution, and do it at a fair price. Give us a call or visit
Dayandnight.net.
I guarantee whether Day and Night is your first choice or your smart second opinion, we'll work harder than anyone to earn your trust.
If you have a drain that's slow or clogged, call Day and Night. Now you'll save $50 off any drain cleaning. Slow or clogged drains? You know where to go.
Dayandnight.net.
Hey, it's Mike Salk here, and we've been talking about this. Luxury awaits at Snoqualmie Casino and Hotel. You can book now for an unforgettable summer experience because the hotel opens up August 8th. Bookings are open at snocasino.com starting on August 8th. The expanded non-gaming floor, the destination spa, the big new entertainment space and convention center, new restaurants as well. They're combining effortless style with the utmost in relaxation. Go to snocasino.com for details. Seattle's closest, now Snoqualmie Casino and Hotel.
Now is your time to get into a new D.R. Horton home by taking advantage of its National Red Tag Sales Event this Saturday, July 5th through July 20th. Stop by any of its participating communities and find select Red Tag homes at incredible pricing. So whether you're buying your first home or looking for an upgrade, you don't want to miss the Red Tag Sales Event starting this Saturday. Discover the D.R. Horton difference at drhorton.com. D.R. Horton, America's builder, an equal housing opportunity builder.
Scanning the airwaves for the most interesting and entertaining stories of the day. Sweeping the dial. Every afternoon at 4:45 with Wyman and Bob.
Presented by Silver Reef Casino Resort.
Last night, Clayton Kershaw became the 20th player to ever record 3,000 strikeouts.
2 outs in the 6th. A 1-2 from Kershaw. Strike 3. Open up the velvet rope and let him in. Clayton Kershaw is now the 20th member of the 3,000 strikeout club. A list so exclusive, we may never see a moment like this again.
How about that? That's amazing that there are 20 guys to have 3,000, but that was cool watching the whole thing, and they did a big thing with his family. And the one part I hadn't seen, I just saw it on there, was he was in the locker room, and his wife came in, and his kids are jumping all over him, and I think he's got 4 kids, and yeah, it was which is too many for me.
Yeah,
but no, it was cool to see that. And it seems like by all accounts, nice guy.
Yeah, he's got a reputation of being a great guy. I've never spoken to him, but he interesting wind-up, and we're talking about... He's got an odd delivery.
It's like he's stepping on the ground, but he's not.
Yeah, it's kind of herky-jerky. It's deceptive, and he's been wildly effective. And good on him that he got here, because he's had some serious back issues that have impacted him, and questioning whether he should retire and all that. So for him to reach that mark is huge. It highlights how unreal Nolan Ryan was. Nolan Ryan's the all-time leader. He's got almost double that amount. He's got 5,714 strikeouts in his career. Number 2 is the big unit, Randy Johnson. He's almost 1,000 behind at 4,875. Wow. So just Nolan Ryan doing what he did is just ridiculous.
Well, and he was just such a quiet guy. Like, he didn't seem to really like the spotlight. And
he was just remarkably durable and complete. Look at his complete games. Look at how many no-hitters he threw. I mean, he was just ridiculous.
Sweeping the dial.
On Unsportsmanlike, Chris Canty said Kyle Shanahan has the most pressure on him to win a championship.
Let's be real about one thing. What we've seen around the NFL in recent years is that, having your job and staying installed as the head coach is not a lifetime achievement award. It is a very much so, what have you done for me lately business. And, you know, the further and further we get removed from Kyle Shanahan in the championship rounds, the further and further removed we get from prime Christian McCaffrey, I think it's going to put a degree of difficulty on Kyle Shanahan in terms of being able to get that pressure off him. So I stand by it. Kyle Shanahan having the most pressure to win a championship of anybody in sports.
Of anybody in sports? Wow. I don't know about that, but yeah. I mean, I get the urgency there, but they were just in the Super Bowl. How many years ago was that? Was it 2 years? 3? 2?
3 years ago? Yeah, and they were in an NFC Championship game against Philly.
Yeah, and last year, as we said, and again, weird position to be in defending the 49ers, but last year you kind of go, well, geez, everybody of consequence on that roster essentially was hurt. So kind of throw that year out. But yeah, certainly pressure. You pay your quarterback $50 million. You're expecting a return on your investment, but it's not like they've achieved nothing with Kyle Shanahan there.
Yeah, I'm just looking at going in 2019. Let's see, 2020, they were 6-10 after having gone 13-3 the year before that. Then 10-7, then 13-4, 12-5. Now back to 6-11. I don't know. You might, to your point, might say you didn't do a bad job considering the number of players that they lost, but. Yeah, they signed, we did the preview on that. Looking at, they signed Purdy to that big deal, which I don't think many people, it was $53 million ended up being the average. And I don't know, I think when we were talking about it, we're like 45.
Yeah.
And
it's a lot of dough.
So, I mean, I think there's a lot of pressure there for Purdy to perform, that's for sure.
Sweeping the dial.
MLB Network's Joel Sherman said the Mariners are the perfect trade partners for Acuna.
You know what they have in the last Baseball America rankings, which literally came out yesterday? 9 top 100 prospects. They have a lot of duplication in the middle infield. What do the Braves need? Albies has gone the wrong way. Nick Allen is playing shortstop. Is there a Soto trade to be made here? And the question I would ask the Seattle Mariners is this. The Cubs hadn't won in 108 years, and people were like, how are you giving up this much for Aroldis Chapman, Theo Epstein? And he said, if not now, when?
Right.
If not now, when for the team that's made the playoffs once in a quarter century and has never been to the World Series?
That was unnecessary.
Makes a point.
I mean, I would love to have Acuna Jr. on this team. Are you kidding me? I mean, he's 27 years old. He's a guy who's had years where he's hit 41 home runs. He's done that twice, driven in over 100. He got hurt last year, played 49 games, played in 36 games this year. So he's got 9 home runs, 18 runs driven in 36 games this year, hitting .346 with a .465 on base.
Jeez.
So you want to swing a trade for him? Color me present.
Yeah. I mean, that would be shocking. That would be... for somebody like that, because I think Eugenio Suarez is doable. Like that, that's not far-fetched.
Well, and he's going to be a free agent at the end of this year.
Yeah, that's amazing that he would draw that. And now all of a sudden I'm excited about it.
But I haven't seen any. I mean, unless I've missed it, I haven't read every article, but I haven't seen anything saying, hey, the Braves are shopping him.
Yeah.
I don't know if this is just, hey, here's my out of left field idea. And the Braves are looking at that going, what, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
I don't know. But if it were real, if it were legit and they were looking to move him, I'm listening. If I'm Jerry, I'm Justin, heck yeah, I'm listening.
That would be so shocking, though, to go. I mean, because I could see them making some, because I'm expecting what we've gotten kind of in the past, right? That it's going to be
an older player that used to be good. Yeah, Acuna, by baseball standards, he's making $17 million a year. That's what Julio makes. That's a little less than what Cal makes. It's less than what Luis Castillo makes. He's signed a club option, 27 and 28. He's a free agent in 29. So he's got 2 option years on his deal.
Mm-hmm. Well, like you said, 27 years old, so it's not like he's an old man or anything. But that would be pretty shocking. I'm just trying to imagine what the show would be like after that trade.
Ooh, be a lot of excitement.
I love the ownership. I knew that they're really nice guys.
I knew
they were going to do this.
Yeah, we all knew it. We all knew it, right?
People are going to be texting, which Yeah, I mean, we always talk about, I get in trouble because we said Stanton's a really nice guy.
Here's the problem is we're talking about, people saying, well, Acuna in Seattle would be great. Now they're saying Bregman, Seattle, that'd be great. And Suarez, Seattle. And then Seattle's going to go out and get Joe Schmagegi and go, huh? Uh-huh. What do you think? One time in his career, he had 20 home runs. I mean, he's hit 20 in the past 5 years combined, but still, what do you think?
It's kind of gone that way.
Yeah, exactly. All right, coming up, time to hear from the starting catcher of the Major League Baseball All-Star Game, the Cal Raleigh Show. Coming your way next with Wyman and Bob at Seattle Sports on 710.
If you haven't subscribed to Seattle Sports on YouTube,
it's amazing. We just got to keep hammering it home.
You're missing part of the game.
The rest is history.
There's so much more than what happens on the field.
This is the place I love.
Subscribe now for in-depth inside information with Brock and Salk.
The Mariners' hit rate was way higher than that.
Bump and Stacy.
Cal's like a coach out there.
Wyman and Bob.
One day, breaking that record would be pretty cool.
Stream it live with the local sports leader on YouTube, Seattle Sports.
Are you frustrated with those trendy weight loss shots and not getting the long-term results you really want? This is Dr. Ryan Coogan with Eastside Weight Loss, and whether you've hit a plateau, can't handle the side effects, or watch the pounds creep back after stopping, there's a better way. Our program has helped over 4,000 people lose up to 10 to 20% of their body weight in just 8 weeks without expensive injections or uncomfortable side effects. Our doctor-developed program costs up to half as much and works up to twice as fast. Ready for real lasting results? Visit eastsideweightlossclinic.com now to schedule your free consultation.
Did he just say Eastside Weight Loss Clinic is half the cost and works twice as fast as weight loss injections? Well, if that's not reason enough, you don't risk the scary side effects or gaining the weight back as soon as you stop. Eastside Weight Loss Clinic is natural, and it works.
Many clients lose 20 to 30 pounds in a month or two, and you can do our program remotely from anywhere you live. Schedule your free consultation at eastsideweightlossclinic.com. That's eastsideweightlossclinic.com.
Dr. Ryan Coogan, D.C. Results may vary.
Citizens, since we each upgraded to Xfinity in our homes, the Wi-Fi has been booming. It's fair to say our town has officially become a boomtown.
Mayor, will I be able to drop into multiplayer gaming battles with low lag?
The lag won't be an issue, but your questionable skills may be.
And what if I have hundreds of devices on the Wi-Fi? Purely hypothetical.
Seems like a lot, but sure, hundreds of devices all booming together with the Xfinity Gateway. Yes, friends and neighbors, with Xfinity, the Wi-Fi is booming.
The Wi-Fi isn't the only thing that's booming. Now get the most reliable Wi-Fi and our best-in-class equipment for one consistent price for 5 years guaranteed. All in. Plus, get unlimited data included and no annual contract. All with the 5-year price guarantee from Xfinity. Visit Xfinity.com, call 1-800-XFINITY, or visit a store today. Restrictions apply. Not available in all areas. New residential customers only. Select plans only. Xfinity Gateway with X5 Complete required for unlimited data except in certain areas. Most reliable Wi-Fi based on Open Signal Awards USA. Fixed Broadband Experience Report, August 2024. Actual speeds vary.
Big Trees is Washington's premier tree sales and transplant company. With over 30 years of experience, Big Trees provides trees of all sizes for residential and commercial projects. Our 30-acre nursery features thousands of trees and hundreds of varieties that thrive in our Pacific Northwest climate. For hours, directions, and to see our wide selection of trees, visit BigTreeSupply.com.
When it comes to the security of your business, doubts can creep in about who you're trusting to protect it. Are they a reliable service? How will I know if something happens? Are they keeping everyone safe? At Bay Alarm, we got you. For nearly 80 years, we've been putting our customers' minds at ease with our advanced technology and personalized support. Feeling insecure about your current security service? Visit bayalarm.com today to talk to a local security expert.
Hey, Green Gobbler here. So you've got a clogged drain in your bathroom. Water in the sink's overstaying its welcome. You're spitting today's toothpaste on top of yesterday's toothpaste. You hope that it go away. Yeah, clogs don't just go away. I make them go away. I'm Green Gobbler, the only clog dissolver you need. I'm bleach-free, safe for your pipes, and I work. Guaranteed or your money back. Because I never met a clog that was gonna unclog itself. Green Gobbler. Let the gobbler get it.
Get in the zone, AutoZone. John always listens to his truck. So when his brakes start talking, he goes to AutoZone, where a helpful AutoZoner gets him the right parts. If John has time to put them in, he borrows a kit with Loan-A-Tool. And if he doesn't, he gets a free shop referral. No hassles, just help. Everything you need, nothing you don't.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Deposit required for Loan-A-Tool. Restrictions apply.
William is one of millions of Americans who uses GoodRx to save on the cost of their prescriptions.
My oldest daughter, Camilla, 2 days old, she had to have open heart surgery. All of a sudden, she's on 5 different medications. It adds up at the end of the month. Me and the pharmacist got so tight. She said, GoodRx save you a lot of money. Saving that extra $200-300 a month. We're able to do all these extra activities, so it puts less stress on our household, and it puts less stress on our pockets.
Download the free app or visit GoodRx.com and start saving today. GoodRx user compensated for their time. GoodRx is not insurance, but can be used instead of insurance.
When might you be buzzed? When you suddenly love everything.
You guys, I love this song. I love these nachos. I love our kickball league. Oh, I love this guy. What's your name? You know what I'd love? A ride when it's time to head out.
If you see a buzzed warning sign, call for a ride when it's time to go home. Buzz driving is drunk driving. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
I love your car. Is this real leather?
Let's go! This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports. Seattle Sports Snapshot.
Mariners looking to take the series from the Royals today. They send Logan Evans, who's been called up from AAA Tacoma. He gets the start tonight. He goes up against Seth Lugo. You can catch all of it beginning at 6 o'clock with the pregame show, 7:10 first pitch, right here, Seattle Sports on 7:10. Some finals from earlier today. Marlins beat the Twins 4-1. More importantly, the Rockies beat the Astros 7-6. They were able to hang on and win that game. So the Mariners gain a half game. As we sit right now, 6.5 back of the Astros in the AL West. Games going on right now. Nationals out in front of the Tigers 7-3. That one in the top of the 5th, bottom of the 3rd in Toronto. Yankees and Blue Jays tied at 1 apiece. Headed to the top of the 2nd in New York. Brewers and Mets are scoreless. Headed to the bottom of the 3rd in Atlanta. The Angels up 3-0 on the Braves. Still to come. Cubs and Guardians. Diamondbacks and Giants. Dodgers and the White Sox in LA.
Snapshot brought to you by Miller Lite. When it's game time, it's Miller time.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, this is Wyman and Bob.
On Seattle Sports.
Streaming live on the Seattle Sports app and at seattlesports.com.
Now, here are your hosts, Dave Wyman and Bob Stelton.
Coming up in a moment, the latest installment of the Cal Raleigh Show. A reminder that we do have mean text today coming up at 5:45. How have they been doing so far, Matt?
Dire.
It's
dire.
It's not good, huh?
It's bad.
It's bad. Maybe it's an early vacation. They just got out for the 4th of July. And
why do you think, Matt?
Much like every single one of our coworkers, I think everyone's out of town right now.
Yeah, everybody in this building.
It's not because they're idiots or asleep or
I mean, Dave might
hammered.
say that, and Lefko might say that, but I would never be so cruel to our wonderful, wonderful listeners. I think they're all just brilliant dynamite people.
And creative, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right. So you still got a little less than 45 minutes to get creative with your mean text at 866-979-3776. Brady just called you all dumb, so you can take shots at him, too. Meanwhile, it is time for the latest installment of the Cal Raleigh Show.
Wyman pitch to Cal, swinging a drive. Way out of here to right field. Cal Raleigh with a home run.
He's the best catcher in baseball, and he's on Seattle Sports Thursday afternoons all season long on Wyman and Bob. It's the Cal Raleigh Show.
Presented by the Puyallup Tribe of Indians.
With Mariners insider Shannon Dreyer.
All right, Cal, we got a little bit of fun here. You wanted fan questions. We are going to do fan questions. I hope you didn't peek on social media what people are asking you.
I never will.
All right, before we get to that, just a couple of really quick questions. First of all, how was your day off?
It was great. We won the game, and I, stayed out of it. And, anytime you get a win is a good day, so.
Was this one where you had a good idea you were getting a real day off, or were you kind of, I might be going in this one?
I mean, you never know, right? I mean, all it takes is one foul tip or somebody goes down, and, but so, yeah, got the full day off, rested up, and ready to go today.
Perfect. Coming off the last road trip, where would you say this club is right now?
Yeah, I thought we had a good road trip there. Played in some tough places. Obviously had in-division games as well. We, had a little bit of weather delay, leak into, 3 extra inning games in a row. So it was kind of an interesting one, mixed in with some hot weather as well. So all in all, I thought it was an overall good trip. Try to keep it rolling in tonight, try to get a series win against the Royals, and I think where we're at right now, sitting good, just trying to finish strong, head into the All-Star break, and try to get some guys back. Logan, George, they're starting to get a little more comfortable, a little more, time out on the mound. So really looking forward to that.
What was it like watching Logan pitch to somebody else, and did you see anything different about him last night?
No, he obviously didn't get as deep in the game as he would have liked, but was able to get the job done as far as only got one run, so that was huge, and he gutted it out. But sometimes that's what you got to do when you don't have your A stuff, and that's what good pitchers do. So
I suppose I should congratulate you. All-Star selection and Player of the Month. I mean, do you have a man cave yet? Do you have a place where you put everything in your home?
I have one, back in Arizona. I have a little room, so just full of cool baseball stuff. So.
Are you a collector? I know that sometimes guys will send bats and balls and whatnot over to the other side to get out.
I do collect. I collect bats. Yeah. So some guys do cards and jerseys. I do bats. I think bats are a really cool thing. And I do a couple jerseys, but those are more of guys that I have a personal relationship with. Whereas I still get bats to them as well, but I also get bats from players maybe I like watching from afar, have a lot of respect for. So I think it's kind of a cool thing.
What was the last bat you got?
Oh, last bat I got was we're in Chicago, Minnesota, Texas. It was before that. I think Ty France I got one from Ty France. So I got a few good ones out there. So I think Ty France is probably the last one.
You should get Ty to sign one of those water bats they had in Minnesota. Did you see that?
Yeah, I saw that. It was interesting.
Would you pick it up and try it?
I'll try anything that's got hits in it. So.
Good stuff right there. Every team has to do it, but there are 17 game stretches in baseball. There are long stretches. What do you have to just kind of really, as a team, kind of do to get through that and be productive through that?
Yeah, you just gotta, understand that you're in a long stretch, road and home, and you just gotta make sure that you're getting your rest and doing the work that you need to do, and that you're ready to go. At game time, the games can kind of get on top of you sometimes. So I think our staff does a good job of mixing in some show and go days, maybe no BP, making sure guys are getting their legs under them, and they're saving their time and energy for what really matters, and that's game time. So you just got to be able to be a little bit flexible and understand that maybe a couple days where you do a little less work and put a little more time into the game, and just mixing those in.
Cool. You did your home run derby practice this week. Are you going to do another, or was that it for you?
I don't know. I haven't thought about it yet. So,
okay.
If it comes to another 4 strikeout game, I probably won't be doing that. So, but no, I don't think they were connected. But we'll see.
On the superstitious side, you might, and on the rational side, you might not.
Yeah, we'll see.
Okay. And then the last one in that regard: have you decided left side, right side, both sides yet?
I don't know. It'll honestly probably be a game time decision. So when I did it the other day, right-handed was a little better than left-handed. So
okay.
But the fence there in Atlanta is shorter, a lot shorter in right field. We'll see. Who knows? Who knows?
All right, we're standing by. We will be watching. Ready for some questions?
Let's do it.
Okay. We're going to start with a serious one here. I do like it. ALGP asks, besides torpedo bat, are there any other changes you would like to see in baseball? Maybe limit the number of times a batter can be intentionally walked.
Oh, yeah. I feel like that'd be an easy rule to get around. You still be able to just throw balls out of hand. You just find a way to do it. So, I don't know, limit the different rules. That'd be interesting. That is a good one. I don't like, I like the way it is right now with the no ABS, so maybe not doing a ABS automatic zone.
Okay.
Maybe I would like to see starting pitchers go longer into the game, so maybe make a rule about pitchers, maybe setting a rule where they have to go at least this amount of pitches or, barring injury,
Right.
or like this amount of innings, or you end up losing your DH. I've heard them talk about that before. So I think it would just, create a little better flow in the game and give guys a little longer of a leash. So
I like both of those. Are you okay with the base runner on second after in extras?
yeah, it's okay. I mean, and part of me is like, it's good because it gets the game rolling and, we're not playing as long of games. And then part of me is like, well, when it comes to playoff time, they don't use that rule, so it's kind of like the more real type of baseball. So
Yeah.
I kind of like 50-50 about it.
Okay. All right. Lou Guzman, 44. This sounds like it's from the weight room. What's your max back squat and max deadlift?
I haven't maxed out in so long. Back in college, I had, back squat was maybe around mid 400s, around there, and then deadlift was always a lot more. I can't remember. Maybe in like it'd be the hex bar deadlift. It wouldn't be the real.
I have no
straight
idea
bar.
what you're talking about, but I'm sure they do.
Yeah, the hex bar. I do more of those, so I'd say around upper fives, low sixes,
Okay.
600s.
Sounds
so,
like a lot.
Yeah. So, but those are a little easier than the straight bar. The straight bar is a little harder. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And obviously you have a different routine right now.
With lifting?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, you're not gonna see too many guys maxing out in season.
No.
You gotta stay healthy. So
Okay.
strong but healthy.
Okay. Molly Clippard asks, what's the correct ratio of peanut butter to jelly on a peanut butter and jelly sandwich? 1-to-1, 1 to a quarter, more jelly, more peanut butter?
funny.
How does that work?
It's not 1-to-1. It's you definitely go a little more peanut butter than jelly. I wouldn't say double is the right amount, but I'd say if you're putting the whole thing on a sandwich, then you would go 70% peanut butter, 30% jelly.
Okay. It's very exact. Okay.
So, I mean, I just want to be able to taste the jelly. I don't want it to overpower it.
Gotcha.
So, yeah.
Gotcha. What kind of peanut butter do you like?
I like smooth.
Okay.
Smooth peanut butter.
Don't like the crunchy?
Nah, I mean,
Not the
crunchy,
natural?
It's fine. It's fine, but yeah, I mean, I'm just like a Jif or Peter Pan, was it?
Old fashioned? Yeah, there was a okay.
Peter Pan, Jif.
How many Uncrustables do you crush on a plane? I'm asking, not on the card. Oh, yeah, there are like at least 200 Uncrustables when we get
there's
on
a
the
lot.
plane.
Yeah, I try to stay away from those. But
Okay.
I might pack one in my bag.
Emergency?
For, if I get hungry in the room or something.
Yes, okay.
So I try to stay away.
All right.
Yeah.
When you see it, okay, this is from Amazing Albie 23. When you see teammates struggling at the plate or going through a tough time, as a leader, do you approach them or do you let them figure it out? And how do you be there for them? What's the best way to go about it?
Yeah, I think every guy's different, They're always at a different stage in their career as well. So, sometimes, you go up to them, you just ask them, what's kind of going through their head or, what they're thinking about or what's their plan, what's their approach. And you kind of go from there. And but you don't want to be overbearing, right? You understand that there's always a lot going on with guys when they're struggling. So it's just a happy medium, Younger guys, you're definitely going to be a little more obligated to go and talk to them and try to work things out. Whereas, older guys, they know for the most part what they need to do. And but it's just always about being a good teammate. Always just let them know that you're there for them. And if they want to talk about it, great. If they don't, and sometimes it's just about bringing it up at the right times. So.
Who was most instrumental to you at the big league level in that?
That's a good one. I think I look back, Justin Turner last year was good for me. He was awesome. I love that guy, and he had some really great insights. look back to like a Kyle Seager my first year was really good. Caleb Joseph, who was a player, but he was like taxi squad when he was here, so he's kind of like a coach player kind of role. So, but you know, I look back to those guys. Those were definitely people who I definitely look to and or people that helped me a lot.
Very good vets, no question about it. Okay. G. Colombini asks, would you rather fight one Logan Gilbert-sized duck or 100 duck-sized Logan Gilberts?
One Logan. Probably. What was the second one? The 100.
It's one Logan Gilbert-sized duck or 100 duck-sized Logan Gilberts. You got a giant duck or a whole bunch of little Logan.
Duck-sized Logan Gilberts.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's what you would take?
Yeah.
100 of them.
Yeah, because they look like Logan, so.
That's a lot of Logans, though, if you think about it.
Yeah, they're miniature size, so. That's a good question.
I hope we don't ever have to see that. This sounds like from a probably a high school coach. Red Seahawks asked, tipping pitches, what are the types of tells young hitters should look for when facing a difficult pitcher? Do many MLB pitchers still tip their pitches today?
I think there's always that kind of going on. I think for people, when you look, it's a lot of time you look at their glove, glove signs, whether, they're squeezing or not squeezing or flapping or not flapping, stuff like that. And you also see if they dig into their glove with their hand, if they, try to look for differences and they do that. So there's always little tells, sometimes people have their hands higher or lower on certain pitches. So there's always a little bit of it out there, but, I'd say today there's a lot more guys that are well aware of it just because, there's so much video now and there's, people on staff who look for those things. So, they do a good job trying to cover it up, but it's definitely out there. It's definitely still part of the game.
How often, you obviously would be the first to see it from one of your pitchers, I would think. How often do you see it?
You definitely see it. You see a lot with guys, coming up. I know MLB Network had a segment the other day talking about Chase Burns or the Reds. They thought he was maybe tipping his pitches, which you never really know. Unless you're on the team, sometimes they are, sometimes they aren't. But you definitely notice it's usually a thing that happens to younger guys when they come up because when they're in the minors, it's not the top priority. They're not thinking about that as much. So that's always been a thing for younger guys coming up, learning to do it.
One more for you, and I think a lot of people are kind of wondering about this one. The Broselli asks, will you commit to getting a tattoo of a peach emoji if you win the home run derby?
I don't know about that. I don't know if I'm not a big fan of needles, so I don't know if I'm getting a tattoo anytime soon or not. If I win a World Series, maybe I'll get a tattoo. So. Okay, we got a definite maybe on that. All right, Cal, we're in New York next week for this. That should be a little bit of fun. Maybe we'll go through some of your hatred for the Yankees growing up, which I'm imagining you had as a Red Sox fan. Just a little bit.
All right, and we're getting ever closer to that All-Star game, so we'll hit that too.
Perfect.
Maybe some more questions. Good questions.
Yeah, it was very, very fun.
We will do it again. Cal, thank you.
Thanks, Shannon.
Which one of the questions were yours, Dave?
I didn't get mine answered.
Oh, I thought you went under a fake name or something.
Oh, no.
Okay.
I'd be Dave from the Eastlake studio or something like that.
She's got to ask one of your questions.
Yeah.
Come on.
I don't want to tip my my pitches here. I don't want to tell you what they are.
Yeah, but, I think it's up to her to get your question in there. I think she can.
Well, you know what? I was like, Shannon, I'm not trying to be a pain in the butt here, but, you're asking him a lot of questions. This is every week. It's going on for 15 minutes. So I was like, there's a couple of things I was curious about. Some were just like, like what kind of card games do you guys play? And, what kind of ever seen it get out of hand or, I remember one time there was
anybody not pay their debt and start a fight in the clubhouse and
yeah. I one time experienced a guy was, he was basically like he banked, like he was a blackjack dealer.
Yeah.
Right. And so he had, which it's in your favor, you're going to win. And one of the coaches who couldn't afford it He had a couple of drinks on the plane on the way home, and he went back there and he started playing with the players. He ends up losing like $4,000. And so somebody went to him and said, "Hey, man, you might need to give him back a little bit of that, at least 3/4 of it maybe, because he's going to get home and his wife's going to be pissed at him and this and that." And so he did do that. But yeah.
Oh,
and
they're going to say, is it tough?
Yeah. Too bad he lost his money.
Yeah.
Which it should be that way, but it was kind of one of those, hey, man, can you be cool about this? But I remember hearing there was some thing with the Dolphins where there was like a 40 or 50,000. This is like 20, 25 years ago.
Yeah.
There was like somebody lost like 20 grand or something like that, and they were playing these high stakes. So finally they just were like, no more gambling on the team playing.
Wow.
So,
yeah, who was it in baseball? Somebody got mad, slapped the other guy on the other team because it was like fantasy football and he didn't get paid or something. It was fairly recent. Somebody will text it in.
That sounds familiar.
866-979-3776. There was a dispute amongst baseball players, but I think it was over fantasy football, and I think they were on opposite teams, but one guy went up to the other guy in the outfield, and he ended up slapping him or something like that. It was, I think it was in the last couple of years that happened, but yeah.
Wally from Snoqualmie got it wrong. That's not how you do this. He said Dave's question would have been, remember when you hit that home run to go to the playoffs? That was cool. It's not cool. It's awesome. That was the Chris Farley. You remember? I think I told you that Schneider did that to Warren Moon, because Warren Moon was up talking in front of all the scouts. And, hey, Warren, do you remember when you went in the Hall of Fame?
That was awesome. That was awesome. Tommy Pham, that's who it was. Yeah, 206.
Tommy
Thank
Pham.
you. Yeah, and I don't remember who he slapped, but I think it was over fantasy football.
Yeah.
I'm like, all right, you got multimillionaires getting mad at other multimillionaires. Another 206. Tommy Pham slapped Jock Peterson over injury reserve spots or something silly like that. Yeah, there you go. All right.
But yeah, I think for Shannon, geez, you're going to run out of, and
you're just here to help.
Huh?
You're just here to help her.
Yeah,
she's going to run out of questions.
And I wasn't pressuring her or anything like that. But there was a couple of serious ones that I had that do you ever look at what people are saying and you're like, oh, his swing and he's doing this and that, and go, that's not what I'm doing at all. He probably doesn't even read that kind of stuff. But anyway, we'll see if she gets to a couple of those. But I was just trying to be helpful. That's all.
So you did give her questions. She just didn't use them.
Not yet.
Okay.
At least I think.
All right.
She might have.
Did she go, Dave? I've got this under control.
Yeah.
Thanks for your help, sir.
I was like, hey, I'm sorry to bother you. I just thought this would be funny, and I was, if I was doing that, I would run out of questions, man. That'd be tough.
Yeah, it's
a lot of questions she's firing at.
Every week she's got to come up with a new batch of questions, and she's asking other people. So I think Dave Wyman should be moved up to the front of the line there. There's no bigger Cal Raleigh fan certainly in the building than Dave Wyman. So you need to get his question in there. Let's do him a solid. No, but it's good to hear. It is, every time we hear him each week, you just hear that comfort level, and it's so funny to think of where, and I know we brought this up a bunch, but just when he first came to the league and we first had a chance to talk to him, he was rough. Wasn't a great interview. He's not somebody who would be going, hey, we're hitting Mariners PR. Let's get Cal on. It's like you talk to him, you're going, okay, that was a lot of questions.
Yeah.
With not a lot of response. So he's got it's night and day how much more comfortable, how much better he is. He was the cliche king for a while, and they were very short cliches. So yeah, he's come a long way.
Yeah.
And just being comfortable and being, obviously, he's been in the league a couple years. He's accomplished a lot individually, and he gets it.
Yeah. So, remember in Bull Durham, remember Kevin Costner was giving everybody the advice.
Yeah, he's giving Nuke LaLoosh.
Yeah, one game at a time.
Yeah.
God willing, this.
He's just like, that's boring, Matt. Just write it down.
Yeah.
Just write it down. All right.
I think early on, though, real quick, is you don't. You're also like, where's this guy going? Is he trying to trip me up? And there's not maybe as much trust. And And then, Cal, of course, knows Shannon and knows he's not going to do anything like that.
Well, and at this point, Seattle media. I mean, this isn't a gotcha media.
No.
This isn't New York. This
Right.
isn't Chicago or Philly. It's a world of difference. All right, coming up, who needs a blockbuster trade more? Seahawks or the Mariners? We'll get into that coming up next. It's Wyman and Bob. This is Seattle Sports on 710.
Independence Day, when we celebrate this great nation of ours and the many reasons we're grateful to call ourselves Americans. Freedom, liberty, time spent with friends and loved ones, and way too many burgers, dogs, and cold ones to keep count of. Wishing you a safe and happy 4th of July from Seattle Sports on 710, the Seattle Sports app, and seattlesports.com.
Since time immemorial, the Puyallup tribe of Indians have lived on what is now called Puget Sound. The Puyallup tribe is a sovereign nation of more than 6,000 members and one of the largest employers in Pierce County. Today, the Puyallup tribe continues to serve its members and community with generosity and is committed to building a sustainable way of life for future generations. Learn more at puyalluptribe-nsn.gov. That's puyalluptribe-nsn.gov. Headed to the ballpark? Skip the traffic jams, parking fees, and the stress of driving. Make riding transit part of your game day ritual. Roll in with your crew, talk stats, and meet fans. No traffic, no stress. Community transit riders enjoy seamless connections to light rail and ferries to get to Seattle and beyond. And youth 18 and under ride the bus for free. All in for the win. Plan your trip with Community Transit at ctgo.org/homerun.
Need a new roof now? With State Roofing and Exteriors, you can get started with 0 down, 0 payments, and 0 interest for up to 24 months. That's right. Protect your home now and pay later. Call 866-ROOF-ROOF or visit stateroofing.com today.
Hi, Zoe Saldana. Welcome to T-Mobile. Here's your new iPhone 16 Pro on us.
Thanks. And here's my old phone to trade in.
You don't need a trade-in. When you switch to T-Mobile, we'll give you a new iPhone 16 Pro. Plus, we'll help you pay off your old phone up to $800, and you still get to keep it.
There's always a trade-in.
Not right now at T-Mobile.
I feel like I have to give you something in return for karma.
That's okay.
I don't really have much in my purse. Oh, let's see. Hand sanitizer. It's lavender.
I'm good. Seriously.
Let me check this pocket. Oh, mints?
Really, I'm fine.
Oh, I have raisins. I'm a mom. Wait 1 sec. I've got cupcakes in the car.
It's our best iPhone offer ever. Switch to T-Mobile. Get a new iPhone 16 Pro with Apple Intelligence on us. No trade-in needed. We'll even pay off your phone up to $800.
With 24 monthly bill credits, new line $100 plus a month on experience beyond finance agreement $999.99 and qualifying forwarded. For well qualified plus tax and $10 connection charge. Pay off via virtual prepaid card below 15 days. Credits end and balance due if you pay off early or cancel. See T-Mobile.com.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-6759. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-6759. That's 800-575-6759. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
When it comes to the security of your business, doubts can creep in about who you're trusting to protect it. At Bay Alarm, we got you. For nearly 80 years, we've been putting our customers' minds at ease with our advanced technology and personalized support. Feeling insecure about your current security service? Visit bayalarm.com today.
20 days until Seahawks training camp. And Seahawks training camp lives on the home of the Seahawks, Seattle Sports.
Eric Johnson here. I spent the past 30 years working to help make our community better informed, better protected when it comes to consumer issues, and better equipped to take on whatever life throws at us. That's why I love the free Washington Accident book series from Davis Law Group. These books keep us better informed about the law, better able to protect ourselves on and off the road, and better off when all is said and done after an accident. Chris Davis didn't have to write these books. He did it because he saw a need. People who were in accidents or other legal situations didn't know what to do, what pictures to take, documents to request. Only a tiny fraction of the people who get these free books will ever become clients of Davis Law Group, but that's not the point. Chris wrote them because it was the right thing to do. The free Washington Accident Book Series is a must-have for drivers who want to be prepared for whatever the road might throw at them. Get yours at WashingtonAccidentBooks.com.
Hey, Brock Ewart here for my friends over at Xfinity. You know, change is always happening. It's part of life. And when it comes to music, we know that change is all around us. Songs are rewritten and remade. Classics are remixed. Bands and artists, well, they come and go. Even our taste in music, as we get older, can change a bit. But no matter how things change in 5 years, there's one thing that will stay the same, and that is the price of your internet. That's right. Xfinity is introducing a 5-year price guarantee. It means you get 5 years of the most reliable Wi-Fi with their best equipment included for a price that stays exactly the same. Are you surprised? Well, life is full of them. One internet price, 5 years, guaranteed. Learn more at Xfinity.com/deals. Now, restrictions apply. New residential customers only. Taxes and fees extra and subject to change. Most reliable Wi-Fi based on Open Signal Awards USA. Fixed Broadband Experience Report, August of 2024. Go check it all out right online at Xfinity.com/deals.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, you're listening to Wyman and Bob.
Weekdays 2 to 7.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
All right, we got mean text coming up in 15 minutes.
No, we don't.
We may not. I'm not sure what's happening. I always try to chalk it up. I always try to give you guys a break and chalk it up to speech to text, because that very often goes awry. I've done it myself a million times. I've looked down at what I sent, and it's gibberish. I'm going, what in the hell is that?
Mm-hmm.
So when we're reading text where Dave and I and Matt are all sitting here amongst the three of us going, wait, read that again. Wait, so what does that mean? What is that word?
And it couldn't be speech to text because the whole thing doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, there's a lot of I think some people are pre-funking. I think the holiday weekend has already started.
Hey, I would be if I wasn't here.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. This seems to be a unique case. It's not often one after another that just. There's certainly mean texts that come in that just aren't funny, aren't that creative. But these were ones we're having a hard time deciphering. What does that mean? I don't understand what's happening here with this. So I guess in saying all that, do better. Try harder. Make it concise and to the point, and rip whoever you'd like. Be creative, but, maybe proofread it before you send it.
If you know how to write us a mean text, okay?
You don't even have to spell it correctly. Just proofread it.
Or at least give us, the elements of a joke, and we can assemble them ourselves.
Yeah,
but
we'll fill in some of the spots.
I'm going to have to produce an actual segment for 545. We're doomed.
What is this? I just want to know what this means. Wyman wants to know a segment and a segment.
I tried the entire break. I just kept saying it to myself. I really wanted to know what was this person trying to say, and I have come up blank. I can't figure it out.
Maybe it's because that person is so brilliant and so much smarter than the rest of us that we just can't get it.
Yeah, that's got to be it. This is Albert Einstein creating the new theory of relativity.
Yeah.
Too much weed will do that to you.
Says Brady Bones from experience.
Hey, man. A translation, the weed is really good right now.
It seems to be kicking hard right now. So, all right, 866-979-3776. We may or may not have mean text. Well, we're going to have to make that call at the end of the segment. So see what you can do to save the segment for the day. But the people may have just checked out for the holiday. And
otherwise, Matt's going to have to work and produce a new segment. Things for us to
Matt
talk
will
about.
just fire mean text verbally at us.
Yeah.
He'll just start making them up from his seat right there.
I've already had to make so many segments this week. I can't do another. Oh, well, Cal Raleigh hit a thing in the home run. Will Julio hit a ball in the game. I can't do it. I can't do it anymore. We have to do mean text. You have to do better, people.
Oh, I wish
he
hit a thing.
I wish we had what we learned today, because then we could hear what ESPN stands for.
Yeah, it stands E, and then sports.
There's an E, it's sports.
And then
there's a P in a network. Do I have to spell it out for you people?
Oh, so good. All right. Meanwhile, the question was, who needs a blockbuster trade more, the Seahawks or Mariners? And for me, this is a very easy one. I mean, we talked about potential for the Seahawks, and the reason we're involving them in this is because I feel like there's actually been more talk about the Seahawks potentially pulling off a big move and getting somebody like T.J. Watt.
Yeah.
Whereas the Mariners, I guess the Mariners, we did have that soundbite of somebody talking about them picking up Acuna Jr. Right. But the Mariners, by a million miles, need something like that, because I think the Seahawk fan base is excited. I think they're invested. I don't think they're not even close to the level of pessimism and irritation with the franchise that exists with the Mariner fan base.
Oh, yeah.
So a monumental move would go a long way into appeasing this fan base. Like, whoa, they're serious. They okay, this is a different version of the Mariners. I'm used to ripping them for all the things they don't do, and then they hypothetically they go out and get Acuna Jr.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, come on.
Yeah,
what Mariner fan's not going to be excited about that? Now, I guess it would depend on what you gave up in exchange, but just the fact they pull off something that big with a player like that, I can't even imagine the response from the fan base versus the Seahawks, who've actually kind of done it before.
Yeah,
they've gone out and picked up, Jimmy Graham, who was a superstar at the time. They went out and got Percy Harvin, superstar at the time. They went out and got Dwayne Brown. They picked up big names.
Yeah,
and some have worked better than others, but they've not been shy about it. Whether it's Jadeveon Clowney, we didn't even see that one coming when that happened.
Quandre Diggs.
Yeah,
that was.
Well, he wasn't a superstar though. He turned into a.
He led the league. Oh, you mean at the time?
Yeah, where it was just this guy that everybody knows. And hey, the Seahawks just acquired this guy. He turned into it. That was one of John's best moves ever. But
I think he traded a fifth
round pick for him,
and he led the league in interceptions for.
Yeah, but I'm talking about somebody you just looked at and go, whoa, they just traded for Percy Harvin. Jamal Adams. Jamal Adams is coming over. I mean, that
was a big one.
Yeah, these are yet again, some worked out, some didn't. But just the idea of them doing it isn't nearly as foreign as the Mariners doing it.
Yeah.
Last time the Mariners did something like that, it wasn't a trade. They signed Robinson Cano.
Well, would you say Eugenio Suarez, for example, is a blockbuster move?
No.
I feel like Acuna and
Bregman would be in that. But I would love the Suarez move.
Right.
It wouldn't be. He's a great player. He's very, very good. He's not a superstar in this league. He's a hell of a player.
Yeah.
And we know him here, and everybody loves him here. So it would be a very big deal here. But it would be more realistic than Acuna or Bregman. Yeah. Those would be ones you go, whoa, I can't believe they did that. That's out of the ordinary.
And also, I mean, just anybody to contribute to what Cal's doing, and then if whoever it is, whether it's Acuna or Suarez or whatever, maybe that can ignite Julio a little bit. You got a Rosarena coming on, and now all of a sudden you've got a few choices to when somebody goes cold, like Cal goes 0 for 4, you've got 3 guys that are a serious threat to, and I'm counting Julio as that.
Yeah.
So, yeah. That's such an isolated problem. They need more, because I mean, when you trade for a player in the NFL, whether it's offensive or defensive side of the ball, I mean, they still have a lot of guys around them that need to help them perform, and this is just you against the pitcher, and we need more production, and so that's a pretty slam dunk question, but. Yeah, I mean, I think, I guess you could say if, the quarterback position might be, if that was the case, that might be one where you might go, okay, that's maybe equivalent. But, yeah, I think the Mariner offense, the bat, makes way too much sense.
Yeah, what it would mean to the lineup, what it would mean to the fan base, to me, it's not even close. And the Seahawks have done it again. It would be... There's still certainly would surprise me if the Seahawks went out and picked up T.J. Watt. I'd have that same reaction, like, whoa. But they, we just ripped off a bunch of examples where they've already done that. So it wouldn't be nearly as foreign as the Mariners doing something like that.
Yep.
Speaking of the Mariners, the lineup is out. Cal's back in the lineup. Crawford leading off, Julio, Cal, Arozarena, Polanco, Raleigh, Canzone, Williamson, and Young. So Dylan Moore was 1 and done. I think he was 0 for 2 with 2 strikeouts last night.
Right. Demo, I'm sorry, he just looks lost. That last strikeout that he had, and you could see, I mean, he was kind of looking up in the air like, man, I'm not seeing it right now.
He's like 1 for his last forever.
Yeah.
It's bad. He's in a bad place right now. So see how often they run him out there to try to get him straightened out. Meanwhile, all right, are we going to attempt it? Matt, what's the call here?
I do not have the mental fortitude to make another segment. We have to do it. We have to. I'm sorry.
We're just going to work with what's there?
We're going to have to.
All right.
There's no other option.
Let's go. All right. You still have a few minutes at 866-979-3776. Get creative. As creative as you can be. I would just say this again. Just proofread it before you hit send, especially if you're doing speech to text. Just so even if it's not funny, let it make sense. That's all. Yeah. That's all we're asking. I think we're lowering the bar here. We're just low. It doesn't even have to be funny or creative. Just have it make sense.
Just put the words in the right order. That's all I'm asking.
We are really lowering the bar here. All right. Mean Text coming your way next with Wyman and Bob at Seattle Sports on 710.
ESPN senior MLB insider Jeff Passan with Brock and Salk.
I'm leaning a little bit more into that Bregman train.
I think there's a question of could versus should versus would. Could they? Sure. Should they? Absolutely. Would they? We get back to the same question that we do every offseason. Would the Mariners go out and spend real money on a guy? Up to this point, they have not shown a willingness to do that.
Get more on the Seattle Sports YouTube page and the Seattle Sports app.
Hey, Brock Ewart here for my friends at PCF Group, or People Come First Construction Group, and that's exactly what they did when we made the call a couple years ago. We wanted to redo our outdoor space, wanted to add a deck, and outdoor living, a television, and a kitchen. And PCF Group, wow, they more than delivered. And if you're interested in building a stunning outdoor area like we did, I cannot recommend them enough. Reach out before the good weather arrives, and their schedule, well, it's going to fill up. So whether you're looking for a complete outdoor living space or a very specific project like an underdeck ceiling, deck, patio cover, railings, PCF has you covered. Design now and pay later. In fact, get 12 months, no interest and no payments, and up to $6,000 off and a $1,000 Amazon gift card. Request a complimentary design and estimate consultation at 425-629-8476 or project ideas. Explore photos at pcfgroup.com. That's 425-629-8476.
Hey, it's Mike Rohn. If I have a choice, I like to do business with companies that actually stand for something. That's why I switched from Verizon to Pure Talk. No offense to Verizon, I'm sure they stand for something. I just don't know what it is. Pure Talk, on the other hand, is a veteran-owned company that supports our military in a big way, and I appreciate that. Yeah, I also appreciate unlimited talk and text and plenty of data for half the cost of the big guys, and I do like being on America's most dependable 5G network for just $20 a month, but what I really appreciate is no contract, no cancellation fees, and Pure Talk's commitment to handle all their customer service in this country. I saw it for myself. I went to Georgia, I got a tour of their headquarters, I met their CEO, and I talked to the same customer service folks that you'll talk to when you dial pound 250 and say keyword micro. Switch today and save 50% off your first month when you dial pound 250 and say keyword micro. Pure Talk, a wireless company that actually stands for something.
The Butts Golf Sidewalk Sale is on now, and we're blowing out the shoes, starting with FootJoy, and includes all the best brands, starting at only $29.99. Hurry in now because it all ends on Sunday.
New Harley-Davidson Street Glides under $265 a month at Jet City Harley. Try it out for under $265 a month on a new Street Glide at Jet City Harley-Davidson.
Payments based on Street Glide model and base color with 30% down, 96-month term, 6.99% APR with approved credit. Doesn't include freight, setup, tax, title, and license fees. See dealer for details.
1877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Donate today at carsforkids.org. That's cars with a K. Your car can be picked up as soon as the next day. Receive a tax deduction and vacation voucher.
1877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Now accepting donations of land, homes, buildings, or any kind of real estate.
Do you know a woman that gives her all to the sports community, encourages diversity, and empowers those around her? Shannon Dreyer here. Seattle Sports is partnering with the Seattle chapter of WISE, which stands for Women in Sports and Events. We want to recognize a woman in our community, and we need your help in finding her. Nominations for the 4th Annual Women of Inspiration Award are open until July 11th. The winner will receive a donation to the cause of their choice. Nominate an inspiring woman at woiseattle.org.
The home of the Mariners, Seattle Sports.
Cal swinging a drive, deep to right field.
Every pitch of every Mariners game is on the Seattle Sports app.
Well, I'm here with my good buddy, Dr. Dan Nelson from Eastside Pain and Regenerative Medicine. And you've heard from Dr. Dan's patients over the years how a simple stem cell procedure has successfully conquered their pain. Well, folks, now it's my turn. After years of dealing with knee pain from all the football abuse, I can say my knee pain now is almost 100% gone. How'd you do it, Dr. Dan?
Well, Brock, personally, I'm very happy that you did so well. And your story is like so many of our other patients who come in, former athletes and non-athletes as well, who have come in with chronic knee pain, and they are looking for alternatives besides knee replacement surgery. And we're happy to provide this service. It's been truly a game changer for so many folks. It's just been a pleasure to be part of this.
Consider Dr. Nelson, the only doctor with over 30 years of experience in pain medicine techniques, including stem cell therapy. I was in and out with a couple of follow-ups. It's a non-surgical solution to pain using your own stem cells. Consider stem cell therapy with Dr. Daniel Nelson, MD at 425-823-4000 or visit danielnelsonmd.com. That's danielnelsonmd.com.
This might be the most surprising statistic I've shared in decades of doing local news. More than 75% of commuters will be involved in a car accident at some point. JP Pendergast of Pendergast Law with more.
What makes it more surprising? The average person will be involved in 3 to 4 collisions in their lifetime.
With accidents unbelievably prevalent, what are some safety tips if it happens to you?
Safety first. Secondary collisions are not uncommon while awaiting help. Turn on those hazards and remain in a safe place. If a bystander witnessed the accident, capture their information and encourage them to remain at the scene. Seek medical attention immediately if needed, as delaying can be a costly mistake. Lastly, remember that statements made to police and insurance adjusters can affect your case.
Collisions are more common than we'd like to think. If you find yourself in one, follow these helpful tips and then call my friends at Pendergast Law.
If you or a loved one's injured in a car accident, call Pendergast Law. We can help.
Pendergast Law.
City Royals tonight, and the roof will most certainly be open. It's another beautiful day outside, and that is your Mariners Roof Report, brought to you by State Roofing and Exteriors. All right, that's going to do it for us. I want to thank our guests today, Paul Moyer and Adam Jude, for joining us on the program. Also had the Cal Raleigh Show, so if you missed any part of the show, you can find it on the podcast page at seattlesports.com. Just click the podcast tab, click on our picture, and it's right there waiting for you after the show each day. Have a great weekend, everybody. We'll talk to you on Monday with Wyman and Bob, Seattle Sports on 710.
Bump and Stacy, weekdays 10 to 2.
Cal is on a historic pace. We haven't really seen anything like this, right? You have to look around the rest of that team and go, okay, who's going to carry some of this offensive load? Do you feel like it could be Randy?
It could be. It should be. You need guys like Randy to step up. Can we expect him to have 2 bombs a night? No, let's be real. And I think most of you are going to be real. 4 RBIs last night, the most since April 9th against Houston, so that's good.
Bump and Stacy, weekdays 10 to 2 on Seattle Sports, the app, YouTube, and your smart speaker.
Hey, Green Gobbler here. So you've got a clogged drain in your bathroom. Water in the sink's overstaying its welcome. You're spitting today's toothpaste on top of yesterday's toothpaste. You hope that it go away. Yeah, clogs don't just go away. I make them go away. I'm Green Gobbler, the only clog dissolver you need. I'm bleach-free, safe for your pipes, and I work. Guaranteed or your money back. Because I never met a clog that was gonna unclog itself. Green Gobbler. Let the gobbler get it.
Staples presents That Was Easy.
So, I was taking my side hustle full-time.
Bold move, my friend.
And I needed to find everything in one stop.
Like finding Bigfoot riding a unicorn.
Yes, so I hit the Staples Easy button. Staples had everything for a new office and print services for signs and brochures. Plus, Cindy, the Staples associate, helped me find the best tech for me.
Wait, no drama?
No, Staples made it easy.
For the products, services, and experts your business needs, Staples.
That was easy.
In-store, online, and on the app.
Get in the zone, AutoZone. Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? Hey, that's the spirit. Right now, we're celebrating free with a free STP oil filter when you buy 5 quarts of oil and free Duralast brake pads when you buy 2 rotors. Like always, free battery testing, charging, and recycling at every store. Celebrate free at AutoZone now through July 28th. Get in the zone, AutoZone. Restrictions apply.
Staples presents That Was Easy.
So, I was taking my side hustle full-time.
Bold move, my friend.
And I needed to find everything in one stop.
Like finding Bigfoot riding a unicorn.
Yes, so I hit the Staples Easy button. Staples had everything for a new office and print services for signs and brochures. Plus, Cindy, the Staples associate, helped me find the best tech for me.
Wait, no drama?
No, Staples made it easy.
For the products, services, and experts your business needs, Staples.
That was easy.
In-store, online, and on the app.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, let's talk ED because millions of men experience it, but not everyone can access or afford treatments like Viagra. Well, Hims can help. Through Hims.com, you can get a full range of treatment options for ED, including daily or as-needed meds through a 100% online process. It all starts with an online intake form. Get started at hims.com/joy, and from there, a medical provider licensed in your state will determine if ED treatment is right for you. If prescribed, your medication is shipped to you for free. Find the ED treatment that fits your needs with options up to 95% less than the brand names. Millions of men experience ED, but Hims can help. To start your free online visit and save up to 95%, go to hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit. HIMS.com/JOY.
Your time to save at the Bud Sidewalk Sale. We're overstocked with golf balls and gloves. Pick up a dozen golf balls and a FootJoy glove and you're out of there for under $20. Thousands of items for 4 days only, but it all ends Sunday.
Citizens, since we each upgraded to Xfinity in our homes, the Wi-Fi has been booming. It's fair to say our town has officially become a boomtown.
Mayor, will I be able to drop into multiplayer gaming battles with low lag?
The lag won't be an issue, but your questionable skills may be.
And what if I have hundreds of devices on the Wi-Fi? Purely hypothetical.
Seems like a lot, but sure, hundreds of devices all booming together with the Xfinity Gateway. Yes, friends and neighbors, with Xfinity, the Wi-Fi is booming.
The Wi-Fi isn't the only thing that's booming. Now get the most reliable Wi-Fi and our best-in-class equipment for one consistent price for 5 years guaranteed. All in. Plus, get unlimited data included and no annual contract. All with the 5-year price guarantee from Xfinity. Visit Xfinity.com, call 1-800-XFINITY, or visit a store today. Restrictions apply. Not available in all areas. New residential customers only. Select plans only. Xfinity Gateway with XFi Complete required for unlimited data except in certain areas. Most reliable Wi-Fi based on Open Signal Awards USA. Fixed Broadband Experience Report, August 2024. Actual speeds vary.
Since time immemorial, the Puyallup tribe of Indians have lived on what is now called Puget Sound. The Puyallup tribe is a sovereign nation of more than 6,000 members and one of the largest employers in Pierce County. Today, the Puyallup tribe continues to serve its members and community with generosity and is committed to building a sustainable way of life for future generations. Learn more at puyalluptribe-nsn.gov. That's puyalluptribe-nsn.gov.
When it comes to the security of your business, doubts can creep in about who you're trusting to protect it. At Bail Arm, we got you. For nearly 80 years, we've been putting our customers' minds at ease with our advanced technology and personalized support. Feeling insecure about your current security service? Visit bailarm.com today.
The countdown is on.
20 days until Seahawks training camp.
On the home of the Seahawks, Seattle Sports. 710 KIRO AM Seattle